Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another season here of the GSL, the Global StarCraft League 2025 Season 2, Round of 8, Group A. I'm, of course, just VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by these chains that bind us. Oh, no. As we do catch up with some GSL coverage. For those that are curious, of course, GSL did occur last week, specifically Group Stage 2. The round of 8. The round of 8 was last week, and of course the semis and grand finals was over the weekend, was yesterday, less than 24 hours ago. But we are here to catch up this week. We're here to catch up on the group stage and on the semis and the grand finals throughout the course of the week. Let's go. We're here to catch on up, and it's been quite a season. Again, a very condensed season, a very condensed period in StarCraft as well. It does feel like all these big premier events, they want to wrap up and get all these matches done and over with before EWC. Just a very tight schedule here, and the schedule continues, referring to Stars Agora even last week, GSL this week. We have EWC Global Qualifiers this weekend, and we have Home Story Cup after that as well. So again, there's just so much happening in such a condensed period of time, and we're here to get through it as well. Let's go, baby, let's go. Also, shout out to those in the chat. I see baby links in the chat. I see I stand as well. Thank you so much, Beefy, for the kind words. Do appreciate it. I know how you streamed starting at 1 a.m. yesterday, but thanks again for casting cheese. Always, Pappy, always. But you think casting at 1 a.m. in the morning is gonna stop us? No, Pappy, no. We cannot be stopped. We cannot be stopped. We cast everything, at least as much as we can, as much as we can. Even we have some limitations, unfortunately. I've mentioned this before, but there are some tournaments that we do have to turn down just because they're overlapping, right? They're overlapping, they're happening at the same time, or there are some events that we cannot cover because we would like to sleep at some point, at least a little bit. at least a little bit. I think yesterday, what did we sleep? Like we slept 4 hours and 24 hours, something like that. The day of cheese, it was yeah, it was intense. it was intense, man. It was intense. But we're here, we're back to catch up on that GSL action, of course. Here to catch up, and let us catch up and have a look at the matches ahead of us. Here we go as we switch our teams over and catch up on our group. We have 4 players here. We have 2 Zerg, 2 Terran. We have Rogue, GuMiho, Solar, and Maru. A ZVT group here of GSL. No Protoss involved. Not in this group, at least. That'll be Group B. We'll get there, and this is going to be an interesting one to get into. Of course, there's been a lot of hype and a lot of support around GuMiho as of late. The reasoning for this is because GuMiho, he came so close yet so far to making it into EWC proper, and one of the ways for him to make it through would be to win GSL, to place highly enough. What I mean by that, players like Maru and Solar, they're already in EWC because of their performances at DreamHack Dallas. So specifically in regards to the Esports World Cup, there is a lot more pressure on some players than on others if their goal is specifically to qualify and to be a part of that Esports World Cup. So I know that a lot of the Seoul boys were definitely behind GuMiho when it came to the EWC Korean qualifiers, and I believe GuMiho, he will be a part of the Last Chance Global qualifier this weekend. Again, depending on how his performances go here in GSL, will depend on how much that does impact that, alongside many of the other players, Rogue included in that as well. So in regards to the greater picture of EWC, there's going to be a lot more pressure on GuMiho and Rogue coming into this group, a little bit less on Solar and Maru, but again, despite that, we still have the best players in the world here. Maru has been an interesting one to follow this year. For those who remember, Maru, he did take the off-season off. He took a very long time off at the start of the year because that he was looking a little bit rough around the edges when he returned for GSL Season 1. We saw Maru stumble a little bit in the qualifiers, and likewise did go down in the group stage. In group stage 2 actually as well, he did go down last season, and things were looking a little bit more shaky around the edges. He looked a little bit more well refined the week after that, coming into DreamHack Dallas. DreamHack Dallas, of course, is where Maru did pop off. What I will say though is that there was a common thread between his games at DreamHack Dallas and GSL Season 1, and that is non-stop all-ins. Non-stop all-ins in TVP and non-stop all-ins in TVZ. That's why, even though Maru did an amazing job, of course, at DreamHack Dallas, I was left a little bit wanting in regards to wanting more out of his games, more mid-game, more late-game. I was personally left a little bit dissatisfied with the games that we had gotten, because I wanted a little bit more out of that, and hopefully we get some of that here in GSL Season 2. That's my hope, at least. We'll see. what Maru does have to offer. Likewise, of course, Solar, he also had an amazing performance at DreamHack as well. Bearing in mind there was a bit of a break, a bit of an interim between Group Stage 1 and Group Stage 2 because of DreamHack, because of specifically EWC qualifiers and the Stars Agora as well. And we'll see how players do come in prepared. I mean, that's the other great thing about GSL, is that you do have time to prepare for your matches. Likewise, you already know your opponents ahead of time as well. And hey, our players here don't have to worry about their versus Protoss matchups. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Seems like a hardly see macro games anymore. I would say I would probably agree with the phrasing of hardly, just because we still do get them, but there has been an upswing and uptick in regards to more aggressive builds, for sure. 100% more all-ins, more aggression in a lot of matchups, in TVP, TVZ, and specifically those two. ZVP, we still get a lot more longer games, specifically in Zerg versus Protoss, but we also still see a lot of Zerg players attempt and then fail to all in. We see a lot of that. But I would say right now, out of the three main like diverse matchups, I think ZVP is the matchup that we get the most mid to late game out of all three, currently, at least in the current meta. But again, the meta is shifting. The meta has been shifting. And yo, a big shout out to I start in the chat. God, my God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for gifting us up earlier to Beefy, and also for gifting us sub to check out to the community to check out as well. So thank you so much. And also a big shout out to Chileno Singaporean. God, my God. Thank you so much. One of our longtime supporters of the channel for 48 months with a Twitch Prime. Thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate the support. Do appreciate it. Here we go. We are going to be jumping in to our initial ZVT to Rogue versus GuMiho. Game 1 is going to be on Maganatha. Let's go. Let us go. Oh my God. As we're getting into it, speaking of gifted subs, we have 3 more gifted subs from my son. Thank you. I got 40 in total. Oh, you spoke about that OCD earlier. I understand, Bob. You had to round it out, Bob. You had to round it. Yeah. There it is. We hate uneven numbers. Oh no. But thank you so much to Spurious, to Inawar, and to Francis Frog as well. Congratulations. Hope you enjoy the subs. And thank you so much, Istan, for the gifted support as well. As we are jumping into our initial best of 3 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha, we have our South Korean Zerg player. We have our Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Seoul Esports. It is GuMiho. We go. And when it comes to greater context here of the group, of course it is a GSL format group. Winner plays against winner, loser against loser, and then we have the decider match thereafter. 5 best of 3s in total here tonight, and we are here with our first as we open up on the low ground. Now, based on the setup here, it does look like 2x Reaper out of GuMiho, but there is a build, a special build that made by Juanito, that's why it's called the special build, where you go racks into factory, into a CC on the low ground, into a bit of a greedier build and a greedier start, and it does look like that is going to be the case from GuMiho. So again, Juanito, for those who are unaware, Juanito, he's actually the creator of not just this opener, but also of the 2x Reaper. 2x Reaper special did start it, but then Bjorn and Maru did perfect it. Like Bjorn, he spent the entirety of, what was it, 2023, just doing nothing but the special build. I feel like that bled into 2024 as well. It was crazy. Which was 2x Reaper. But yes, this is going to be racks expand into the factory. Now, the goal, the purpose here is you're able to fully wall this area off early on. What this means is that you are safe against a pool first. If your opponent did go pool first, makes links early on, tries to sneak out across the map and delay the CC, well, now they cannot because you have a full wall, and now your Reaper is free to zoom across the map. Now, on the one hand, this does keep you safe against pool first. The downside here is that it does mean that if Rogue were to go for a Roach-based build, and if he were to go for Roach-based aggression, meanwhile, it was an earlier pool. So it was a pull first. So, this is ideal. Like, this is just almost a hard counter here by GuMiho. These Zerglings, their goal is to delay the CC, but they can't. They cannot, not anymore, because of the full wall. So really solid choice here from GuMiho. Really nice read. The downside, as we were getting into, if Rogue does go for a Roach base all-in, following this is all the production is exposed. Typically, Roach all-ins hit the natural, as I say Roach all-ins, Roach aggression and early game Roach pushes hit the natural, and the Terran player just abandons it. They get a bunker on the high ground, they lift the CC, they float their SCVs into the main base, and they just defend on one base, and then they slowly retake their natural. But here, they wouldn't be able to, because now all the production is also exposed at the natural base as well. So if they give up the natural, they give up everything. So that's the one risk that you take here, is that you are more vulnerable to Roach aggression and early game Roach timings and Roach all-ins. But as we can see, Rogue is droning. Rogue is saturating. On top of that, we're on Maganatha. Welcome on all to Maganatha. Maganatha is the largest map in the map pool, so the chances of there being an all-in is much lower. So this is like a calculated decision here by GuMiho. He should get away with this. Oh, I spoke too soon. That's a Roach one. That's a 320 Roach one, and that was a 310-ish lair timing. So very fast lair out of Rogue, very fast Roach one out of Rogue as well. And it's possible that Rogue, upon seeing the setup here, sees this, and he's like, yo, I want that production. Like, yo, I want to try to get some damage done here. So gases are being taken. Third base is heavily delayed to afford everything. Right? That's why we're stuck on two bases. That's why we're able to afford the lair, afford the Roach horn, afford all the setup here, is we sacrifice a third. Meanwhile, Hellion Reaper does poke in. Queens are in position. So far, so good. They fully wall up. Yeah, there's no way in. No way into the bases. Behind this, going into Cloak Banshee. Meanwhile, GuMiho, he has not seen the main base yet, but he can assume, right? Upon seeing no expansion, he can assume 2-base Roach, maybe 2-base Muta. Like, technically, 2-base Muta would also be possible with this kind of setup. We know that it isn't, but it's still on GuMiho to piece together what's going on. As for now, it's going to be zoned away. Roach speed is being researched. That would be a tell. Third base now is spotted. GuMiho is aware. So he's now aware that there's an expansion. It's not an all-in. But Roaches are still amassing nonetheless. And we're waiting for Roach speed. Behind this, Cloak Mage is almost done. And we're going 1-1-1 into a third TZ into mech. We're meching it up here. We have more factories on the way. Again, there has been an uptick when it comes to mech. Beyond, of course, did whip out mech last season in GSL Season 1. But GuMiho, he has always been one to embrace mech, even before it was cool. Even before the bugged Cyclone, GuMiho, he was always meching it up. Again, more so than others. So he was meching before it was mainstream. He's that hipster, if you will. So it shouldn't be too much of a surprise here. I mean, hey, GuMiho, he even plays mech against Protoss every now and then. Every now and then, of course, he would. Infamously, of course, it was the previous Home Story Cup where he had the finals against Showtime, where he did mech Showtime quite a bit. So now the Banshee does back off. Did poke into the bases, was deflected. GuMiho, he did at least see the lair. He is not fully aware if there's any further tech here, but so far he's secure. So far he's just settling on down, getting to his factories. Overseer does confirm everything that's going on, and Rogue is droning. Rogue, I was assuming that maybe he would go for an earlier move out, but the problem here is, I didn't really get to talk about it, but Banshee based openers and the faster Cloak Banshee that we saw here out of GuMiho is designed to shut down Roaches, right? If we saw an early Roach push, the Banshees, they would just get free damage on the Roaches and shut it down. So this kind of opener here from GuMiho was just really, really safe, and the Roaches, or a Roach push, is going to be deflected, and with that, going into mech. Now, thankfully, Rogue is aware, and he's already got his Roach setup. He's going into Roach Hydra. That's an interesting setup here from Rogue. Typically, the more traditional way to deal with mech is to go into Lingbane Roach Ravager, where you have the Roach Ravager as supportive units, and your Lingbane is designed to try to catch and surround and look down the battle mech, or the traditional form of mech. Going into Roach Hydra against a tank-heavy composition feels a little bit weird. Now, I don't really know if Rogue is fully aware of the composition specifically. He might be thinking it's battle mech, but here, going for a really tank-heavy style is ideal against all things Zerg, or at least against all things this Zerg, Roach and Hydra. Here we go. Rogue is pushing. Rogue is pushing. He cuts workers early. This is a 2.5 base all in. There's no droning. Like, there's half base saturation at the third. There's no fourth base. He's just sending it across the map. Ooh, and the army gets spotted. The army is spotted. The Hellbats are morphed in. The tanks are somewhat exposed. Rogue, can he pull this off? Can he break that siege line? Yeah, there's minimal support. Fourth base is cancelled. Tanks are late to siege. They are late to siege here. They have to pull away. Oh, but the tank boys, yeah, they're brutal. The tank boys are brutal, and even though we were late to siege, even though we were in the middle of getting another expansion, the tank line shuts down the Roach Hydra. And this is where Roach Hydra struggles, again, as opposed to Ling Roach Ravager. What do Lings do? Lings, they're not built really to kill, but they do tank. They close distance, they close that gap, and they get on top of the tanks. They're able to get us around as well. It's a much cheaper army. Going into Roach Hydra, it's not ideal. It can't really do much against a siege line like this. Now, where that changes is Vipers, right? If we're able to get into Hive Tech and get into Vipers, then suddenly, like, these Hydra-based compositions, they can do okay. They can do okay against mech, but straight up Roach Hydra, no shot. Like, it's just very slow, and as you saw, like, they just take so many tank shots as they try to close that distance. They don't have the speed of Zerglings. And with that, Rogue is deflected. And I'll be honest, I'm still not sold on this. I can see a world where Vipers can support this very nicely, but if I'm not mistaken, do we have any Vikings? We do. Yeah, 3 Vikings already. And the Viking, and we're getting more. We're getting more Vikings. I mean, I just mentioned how Roach Hydra struggles, but Roach Hydra Viper can excel. If I can make that deduction, so can GuMiho. And that's why GuMiho is already making Vikings. He's like, you know what? I'm fine. The one thing that can kill GuMiho would be Viper Tech. So he's like, you know what? Let me already just work on these Vikings. Let me build up that Viking count and make sure I'm safe against something like Viper Tech. And GuMiho is just securing himself. He is just securing himself. Behind this, we do have the Hive almost done, getting into +2 range. Again, this all tells us that we're still committing to Roach Ravager Hydra. We're not switching into Zerglings. And GuMiho, he's doing what he does best. He's walling up. He's walling up. He's walling up. We have sensor towers being thrown down. We have siege lines being set as well. Again, this is also where it's important to note that GuMiho, he's not going into battle mech, and he has a couple of cyclones sprinkled in. This is a more of a traditional form of mech. So this is a style that would have worked even previous patch, you know, before the change of the cyclone or before the unintended change of the cyclone. Like, that has nothing to do with this. Like, this is like, this is pure tank Hellbat. Tank Hellbat Viking. Again, this is mech before mech was trendy with the cyclones, man. No. GuMiho, he's old school. Meanwhile, here we go. 4 Vipers have arrived. As we mentioned, like, this suddenly makes the army of Rogue more viable, going into all these Vipers. And on the one hand, yes, there are Vikings for GuMiho. He's got 5, soon to be 7 Vikings, but this still comes down to positional play, right? If the Vikings are out of position, then Vipers can still come in, abduct, yoink, and blinding cloud. Vipers are gathering energy as we speak. Meanwhile, the Vikings are revealed. We have more Vikings on the way. We have that Spire in production for Rogue. This should be for eventual Broodlords, but I'll be honest, like, GuMiho's army is already almost perfect. Like, like he's got the Vikings ready. He's got his tanks. He's got his Hellbats. You could argue maybe there aren't enough Hellbats. The purpose of the Hellbats is not to do damage, is to just buffer, right? To tank for the tanks. To be that meat shield. Vipers, they yoink a couple of Cyclones, they yoink in a couple of... Oh, they yoink in the Vikings, okay. Half of the Vikings do go down, not bad. Ooh, now he's pushing into the choke points. Yeah, the tank boys are brutal here. He does get the first 2 tanks. Ugh. Not much more than that, though. Yeah, this is not where we want to move in. So far, GuMiho is edging ever closer, pushing towards the expansions. Pushing towards that center base. Likewise, Biles a knockdown. Ooh, the first tank. Even up Bile on the Viking, not bad. Decent files. And my biggest concern here, as he does get one more tank, is, again, we're working towards a greater Spire. Like, we're working towards Broodlords, but it's not safe to take in that direction. Not right now. Not with all these Vikings. Likewise, tanks are gaining ground. Vipers moving in. They do get a blinding cloud. They cover 1 tank. They do abduct a couple more. Then we go 3 tanks, 4 tanks going to be going down. Not bad. but I believe that costs him every single Viper. Yeah, we gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. Catching out 2 more tanks. Up, getting 1 more. Whew. And we cannot stop. We cannot stop. We have to go for the bases. We have to go for the production. We have to go for the kill. As Rogue is committed. Tanks are trying to build up. Hydras, they get 1 more tank. Ooh, they get 1 more, but looks like only 1 more. Boys are being pulled. And GuMiho, he's barely holding on here. Yeah, it takes out all the Hydras, forces back the Roach Ravager. GuMiho holds. He does hold on, and Rogue, he traded with the army. Now, my concern here is that Rogue, he lost every Viper. He lost every Viper, he lost every Hydra, he lost every Ravager. He's down to pure Roach. We do have some Infestors on the way that will help against Battle Mech, and coincidentally, Battle Mech is on the way. Coincidentally, GuMiho is switching from that tank-heavy style into Mass Cyclone. So the Infestors, they will have their place here. You know, we do see GuMiho making 3 Banshees at a time. This is a form and a composition of mech that was very trendy like 2 years ago. If you remember TY, before he retired, he was also playing around with this style. It was TY, it was Ryung, and GuMiho as well, going for this battle mech Banshee style. This basically hit the field when High-Flight Rotors, when Banshees got, I want to say that they had like an uptick in utility. And it's a really good way to snipe specifically the Infestors. That's what the Banshees are for. They're built to snipe, to target down those Infestors and the Ravagers as well. Speaking of, yep, there it is. He goes to the Infestor. And immediately 1 Infestor goes down, and he wants the others. Like, that's the value that these Banshees bring. And already he does force out 2 Fungals. And we spoke about, like, how do you deal with Battle Mech? You deal with it with Fungal growth with Infestors, but they're all going down. The Infestors are being targeted, they're being sniped. 1 Fungal does graze the army. Yeah, we got the token Swarmhost on the way. Let's go. And Roaches, they get bullied back. There's 9 Infestors in production. Rogue's panicking. And you can see immediately another Infestor goes down. And these Banshees, they just shut down the Roaches so hard. They target down, oh, that's another Infestor. Yeah, they get another, and GuMiho, he is overwhelming. As he snipes another. Again, we had 9 Infestors popping out, and I want to say we're down to 5. Oh no, the token Swarmers, no! Not like this. And you can see just so many Fungals are forced to be spent earlier on the Banshees. Hydras, now they're trickling in. Banshee's going to be forced back. We have 3 more Infestors on the way, so this is just so gas intensive. Getting all these Infestors. And sure, now we have some Fungals, but there's no support here. There's no DPS, I should say. Neural is not being researched. GuMiho from here switching into Mass BC. He is so quick to tech switch, and he's making use of these starports. Remember, he had all these starports to make 3 Banshees at a time. Now 3 BCs at a time. That's like a more natural transition out of this. It's really well thought out, actually. Like, the transition is so much more seamless here. To go from regular mech into battle mech into Banshee support into BC, as he already has the production ready. That's yeah, that's scary. As thankfully we do have Neural on the way, Neural from Rogue. I will say that typically, or at least traditionally, when it comes to going for your BC transition from mech, it used to be a lot more awkward. But not for GuMiho. As we do catch out some of the Banshees, not bad. And BCs are about to be revealed. The Neural's not done. Neural still needs a little bit more time. BCs, they just force back the army. Teleport into the main. Yo, if the infestation was in the main base, that would be terrifying. Thankfully, the pit is safe, so Neural will complete, and that is going to be the answer to the BCs. It's getting into Neural. Meanwhile, the Hive is going to get sniped. That means no more Vipers. I mean, Vipers are a non-factor anyway. Oh, there we go. Neural comes in. And he can chain Neural. Yeah, speaking of, he Neurals every single BC. Now he can focus himself down. And target himself. Behind this, more BCs. Now getting into Raven production as well. So we're taking to the skies and now switching into more of a tank-heavy composition. And GuMiho, he's just been so fluid with his army composition here. All the assimilations. Going for the gold. But remember, what just happened? He sniped the hive. What does that mean? No Vipers. Without Vipers, now suddenly a more tank-heavy style is viable. Right, so GuMiho again, depending on what he snipes, depending on what he's forcing, he has been switching back and forth between Battle Mech, between BC, between Banshee, between tank. And now we just can't make Vipers. Like, how do you deal with the tank line without Vipers and without Broodlords? You don't. How many assimilations is this taking? This like what, like 6? So many neurals. So many neurals just to deal with 3 BCs. I say deal with 3. He killed 1. He killed 1 BC. The other 2 survived. They just tanked all those neurals. Jesus. Oh my god. Like only 1 BC has died this game. The other 2, they just tanked it. They're like, yeah, we just you can take over. It's fine. I'll just wait you out. I'll just wait it out. Okay, fair enough. So the neurals didn't do much, and now we're stuck with Mass Infestor. And Infestors, they're good against Battle Mech, they're good against BCs, they're not good against mass tank lines. Like, they cannot engage. Hellblaster on one left. Yep, GG gets called. GuMiho just all over Rogue here, and GuMiho takes game number 1. GG. That was crazy. GG, well played. Again, a very, how do I want to say, a very like active form of mech. When I say active, I mean in the sense that GuMiho, he was just so fluid with how he was actually producing mech as well, with the army composition that he had. It wasn't just like a one and done sort of deal, but he was so quick to switch things up from Hellion Tank Viking into Hellion Cyclone Banshee into BC, then snipe the Hive, then go back into tank. And Rogue was just one step behind. He was just one step behind the entire game. Like he was stuck trying to react to GuMiho, but again, like he was just working with incomplete information, or he was forced to kind of dance to the music of GuMiho instead. That was terrifying. Like that was scary. Aye. GG, well played. GuMiho does take game number 1. Now, what I will say is that Maganatha was the best map for this, right? Maganatha, as you mentioned, is the largest map in the map pool. You have a lot of breathing room as well. You have a little more room to work with as a meching player. So Maganatha, I want to say, is probably the best map for mech, even more so than Tokamak. I think I would go that far. So coming into the rest of these maps, we should be seeing Rogue have a bit of an easier time punishing and counterattacking and harassing. We saw there were a couple of moments, we were glossing over it a little bit, but there were a couple of moments there in that last game where Rogue was winning fights, right? He was able to take like 2 pretty big fights, like 2, maybe 2.5, where he was able to catch the army and then counterattack. But the problem is, because Maganatha is so big, by the time Rogue won the fight, pushed towards the bases, there were reinforcements. By the time that happened, GuMiho, he was able to make a stand, whittle away at the army, and he never lost a base. GuMiho, he never lost an expansion, never lost a mineral line. Economic damage was rare in that game for GuMiho. And again, the map helped because of that. Here, on some of these smaller maps, it means that if or when Rogue wins a fight, then he can punish the economy. Then he can break a base. That's the hope, at least. That is the hope. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2. Ooh. Spire. I barely knew. Oh, God. Ah, no. You're all animals. All animals. So here we go. Spawning in the right corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can recover and make a series out of this. It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran. Ooh, representing Seoul Esports, SAUL. It is GuMiho. Anyone cheer for GuMiho like Lost Boys cheered for Rufio and Hook? Yo, Rufio, let's go. Good times. But yes, it does line up quite well. It does. From here though. From here, we are going to be settling in, and we'll see how GuMiho does approach game number 2. Now, on the one hand, even though I was saying, you know, Magnatha, best map for that kind of style of mech, 100%, best map. That doesn't mean the other maps are bad. not at all. Just slightly worse in some ways, right? I would favor Rogue on some of the... I was gonna say I would favor Rogue on some of the other maps like Pylon, like Ultra Love, like Torches as well. Some of these smaller maps where maybe he can be more aggressive with roaches. But the reality is, Rogue, he isn't really that aggressive. Like, typically he thrives in the mid to late game. And if we start going into smaller maps, what's important is that GuMiho, he's not a one-trick pony. It's not like he only plays mech. No, that's not what's scary about GuMiho. What's scary about him is that he can play mech, is that he can switch things up, or he can play standard, right? He can ARAX, right? He can ARAX you. He can play bio as well. He doesn't have to rely on mech. That's what's terrifying about him, is that, like, sure, on one hand, some of these smaller maps might be worse for mech in some ways. They're better for bio, and GuMiho can switch things up back and forth. Here we go. Do have our initial Reaper Scouts out of GuMiho. This time he sets up on the high ground. He does not set up on the low ground like he did previously. As Reaper does move in and is looking for a drone kill. He shouldn't get it. Okay, the drone does pull away, does morph into the Spore, and with that, Rogue is holding. Likewise, does hide his drone here to take his faster third. Oh, what? Wait, what? Okay, the mind games. This is not a ninja base to get it, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to. This is designed to try to trick GuMiho into believing that he's going to base Roach again. Okay, oh, and he snipes the Reaper as well. Very nice snipe. GuMiho with incomplete information. He does go for a third CC before starport, so I would say a standard economic opener here out of GuMiho, but for all he knows, it's going to be 2-base Roach. We know that there is a third on time, not on location, but at a standard timing here on the bottom right hand corner of the map. Now, as tricky as this is, I believe this is just a play standard, right? Like, you would not do this to go for an all-in. So I would imagine here we're just going to drone, we're going to saturate, we are pulling out. Yeah, we're pulling out of gas. So from here, we're going to play at a standard game. The problem here is that GuMiho didn't ever react. Like, GuMiho, he already had his third CC in production. Oh. Okay. Going for a medevac. Going for a medevac, going for a drop play. Going for a Hellion drop. Are we going to throw down an armory? Are we going for Hellbats? That's what I would assume here, but the Roach one has been thrown down. Do you have a surge of Lings here to catch an unit? Yep, there it is, Hellbat. So again, the reason why we assumed Hellbat here is because typically we see an add-on into Banshee or Viking to deny vision. Going for a medevac this early on, what are we supporting? There's no Marines, but there are Hellions, so has to coincide with Hellbats. Right now you can support Hellbats, so Hellbat push here out of GuMiho does move out across the map. Meanwhile, Rogue, he does have a surge of Lings here, and he will bypass the army, and GuMiho, he has nothing at home to defend. He has 2 Hellions. Oh. GuMiho moves out. Lings move in, they get us around, they catch one Hellion already, and GuMiho is caught with his pants down. There's 1 Hellion to defend, boys are trapped, and GuMiho is racing back home. Does race back, SCVs are going to be falling, massive damage. 7 SCV kills already. Getting up to 8. And again, he's still not done. Oh, getting up to 9. Yeah, 9 SCV kills. That is brutal. Back at home, we need roaches. We need roaches because the Hellbat push is coming. Rogue has been droning. Oh. Despite having the Roach one, he has been droning up. Now, GuMiho, he might be scared to push and he might just stay at home. There's a scan. Does see the Roach Warren. Yeah, and that might signify him to just stay at home. Yeah, bunkers on the way. He believes that there's a Hellbat, that there's a Roach push coming. We know that Rogue's been droning. So far, this ninja base has worked out well. Like, he has tricked GuMiho into believing that the only option for him to go for is to go into a Roach push, when really, he has always had the option to drone. So GuMiho is setting up with a bunker. He's keeping his army at home. Fun fact, if GuMiho had pushed with this army, GG. He just wins. like there's no roaches. There's nothing to defend. So if he had just moved out here and now, right after the defense, then he would have overwhelmed, and that would have been game. That would have been game. But GuMiho, he is terrified about a roach push that isn't coming. Hellbat dropping to the main. Rogue happily just saturating his bases. So really smart mind game so far here by Rogue. And now Rogue is up 20 drones. He'll bleed out a couple. 3 workers going down. We have plus on V. Oh, we're going to mech. We're meching it up, baby. Let's go. We got plus on vehicle weapons. And there it is. We have a second and a third factory on the way. Now, can GuMiho survive this? What I mean by that, Rogue, he's gotten up to 3 base saturation. He is now focusing on Roach production, on Ling, Roach, Ravager. And yes, there are some tanks, but only a handful of them. There's only 2 tanks to work with. There's no shot we defend the third, so GuMiho is going to have to evacuate the third base, defend on 2 bases instead, and we'll see if he can actually pull off that defense. Because here comes the 3 base Roach all in, instead of the 2 base Roach all in that GuMiho was preparing for. And after we deny the third, ooh, scan, GuMiho again working with incoming information. He's now thinking, he's like, ooh, okay, you're just expanding. You're just not taking your third base. I should be ahead. And GuMiho, he would be ahead if there wasn't a third. The mind game's happy. Ah. So just a misread here from GuMiho. Third base is going to be delayed. The longer this is delayed, the better it is for Rogue. Rogue is expanding, and Rogue from here, he should just drone. He should just like saturate up to 80. Up to 80 workers. How about are dealt with? GuMiho going to be forced back. Oh. Let's go. Bars out one of the Vikings. Cheeky moves there out of Rogue. As GuMiho is going for another Hellion drop. Oh my god, he's crazy! That's a 7 HP medevac. 7 HP, the Queen is not quite in position though, but there are roaches. There are roaches, and he should not boost in. No shot.
Base is under attack.
Yeah, roaches are ready. Medevac does thankfully pull away. It's 1 shot away from falling. And Rogue is maxed. Rogue, he's maxed out. And now would be the time. I mean, I say now would be the time. Basically, Rogue, he ideally wants to back off. He wants to back off from here. He wants to lure GuMiho out into the open, out into this third position, because trying to break a 2-basing Terran, that's going to be difficult, even with a massive supply lead. But breaking a 3-basing Terran where they're spread out a little bit more, and now they're more exposed, more out in the open, now is the time. And here comes Rogue. Splits up the army. Does move in. And again, this is going to be a tough hold here for GuMiho. He's not going to be expecting this large of an army. And here he comes. Here he comes from behind. From the front as well. Boys are being pulled. Tank lines are exposed. And Rogue, he's done it. He's done it. He breaks through every single tank. Takes down the mineral line. And there's just nothing for GuMiho. There's nothing left. Again, GuMiho, he was tricked. He was tricked. He was caught with the pants down. Hellies, they do get across the map. They get into the mineral line, but they're not going to get much done. The Queens, they do hold their own. And again, GuMiho just over-defended early on. He believed it was a 2-base all-in, but it was really on 3 bases, so he delayed his third for so long. GG gets called. And Rogue, he does tie things up 1-1 with a very cheeky style. GG. GG. We're tied up 1-1. We're going to the ace match again. GuMiho just being fed incomplete information throughout the entire game, and that's what he was basing his responses off of. You know, he believed his opponent was on 2 bases. He believed that his opponent was going for a late third. He believed that he was ahead when he wasn't, right? There was just so much there that GuMiho just was unaware of. And with that, GG. With that, GG well played. Rogue, he does claim the game 2, and now we're going all the way to the ace match into tokamak. Let's go. Let us go. The pants, baby. Yeah. The pants. Aye. They were gone. But he did think he was wearing them. And this morning, in the top right-hand corner of the tokamak, we have our South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Seoul Esports, being forced into the ace match with some massive mind games, by the way. We'll see if we can get a better handle on what it's up to. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, or the blue Zerg player representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. We go. So you are going to be setting up. Whew, and settling in. And again, the big question becomes, Rogue, what do we do this time? Again, like, so much of that last game was predicated on just the incomplete information that GuMiho had accumulated throughout the entire course of that game. Can you do something like that again? Welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is the second largest map of the map, second only to Maganatha. I say second largest, I mean, I have to get a ruler. I have to get a ruler and measure and compare like Tokamak to like Incorporeal, right? Incorporeal is the other large map. True, for sure. What I can say though is that Tokamak is more defendable, is much more defendable than Incorporeal, where you can secure yourself on 2, 3, 4 bases quite easily here. Because of that, I do favor going into mech. I do think that mech is quite strong on Tokamak, just because it's that much more difficult to kind of break and try to harass and hit some of these bases. The rush distance by ground is shorter on this map compared to on Maganatha. That's true. So counterattacks can hit harder, but the bases are more defendable. So we'll see what Rogue, or how Rogue approaches this. I do think that GuMiho is probably going to play mech again. Like, I can see mech working quite well here on Tokamak. From the side of Rogue, suddenly I would say going into something like Mutas is viable here, if he so chose to. Like, Muta play can be quite successful. Otherwise, we could just play Roaches. As Reaper does poke in, dances with the army. And so far no major losses here. Does not get a Zergling. They'll get very low. They get very low, but they do survive. Behind this, GuMiho going for a third CC. Third CC before Starport. Economic opener here out of GuMiho. Does go for an economic start. Oh, hello. We do have a tech lab on the way. And I'm curious here. We have a second Rex. Okay, this is not mech. This is a 3CC211. Again, the tech lab was a tell as to what was happening. And now we have confirmation. So early stim, early bioproduction, early stim timing. Meanwhile, 320 lair. Ooh, okay, so we're rushing into a fast lair. Now, I mentioned earlier how I can see like 2-base Muta. I said specifically Muta play. I can see that working here. I am concerned if we're going to go into gases and if we're going to be going into Muta play, specifically against a 2-1-1. Now, oh god, like, it's okay. So, this does scream Muta. I'm terrified. So, the problem here is that Mutas against a standard opener against a 1-1-1 into Hellion Banshee would be fine because everything that I just mentioned doesn't shoot up. Hellions don't shoot up. Banshees don't shoot up. If we go into Aspire here, again, we're rushing to a sim time. We're going to have Mass Marine. That is where Mutas can struggle. Assuming that we go for it, Spire is finishing. We have the Roach Warren to fully wall off, but the gases were prioritized. Do we go for the Spire or do we go into Roach Speed? There it is. Yeah, the drone moves out. That should be for the Spire. And this is almost like a series mind game. Oh no, the Hellies, they bust in. Thankfully, there are links to defend, and they do not deny the scouts. We do try to rush past. It's going to be close here, but scout is denied. But as we mentioned, this is almost a hard counter. I say almost. If this was a regular 2-1-1, this would be a hard counter. 3CC 2-1-1 hits later. It does hit like 30 to a minute later. But we have Mass Marine. And this means that the committing into mutas like this is not going to be as effective. Baliness is on the way. This sim timing is going to be brutal. But at least Rogue knows. And Rogue, again, his response, he's making a swarm of links, scan, reveals the Spire. Yeah, scan reveals the Spire. GuMiho is now aware of how vulnerable his opponent is, and now it's go time. Now it's go time. 3 more axes behind this. I could see GuMiho turning this into a 3-base all-in with an 8 racks. That would completely like shut down Rogue. Like, I'll be very impressed if Rogue can survive that. Very impressed. The reasoning for this is because 0 upgrades, right? When you go into muta play, when you rush into mutas like this, you're sacrificing your Evo Chamber upgrades and your Link Bane upgrades to make mutas. So in a head-on fight, you're just going to be weaker than the bio army of your opponents, more so than usual. Now, GuMiho only moves out with a single medevac of Marines. Typically, you move out with 2, but you can see he leaves 1 at home and 1 to attack. So GuMiho doesn't commit. And again, I do like the idea of him going for a later timing. Of just defending back at home and then breaking out with 1-1 or with 2-2 upgrades. Because Rogue, he's going to be at 0-0 for quite some time. And he's going to be down in upgrades for even longer. So far, there's that 5 rack setup, and we are expecting to go up to 8 racks. Ooh, Rogue, he's all in. You can see it, Rogue, he's not droning. Rogue, he's not droning, he's not saturating his 3rd, he's building up banelings, it's all or nothing. And this does make sense. As I mentioned, like I feel like Rogue is just going to get outscaled in the longer game, so he has to end the game here and now. He's going for it. He's going for the kill. Nice target firing. Bailing speed is not done. Car pickup, does pull away, does abandon the 3rd. And so far, very nice control here by GuMiho. Very nice crisis management to target down the banelings, to evacuate the base, to only lose 5 SCVs. And remember, Rogue is all in. Like, Rogue, now he starts +1 carapace. This is so late. He started this upgrade after he realized that he would fail to break his opponent. So a late upgrade, late realization. Now he's getting a 2nd Evo chamber for +1 melee. And GuMiho has a lot of momentum here. Again, GuMiho almost 5 SCVs. Like, that was meant to kill. That was meant to cripple at least. Only 5 SCVs. You can see the music's just trying to buy time. They're just trying to buy time for banelings to finish. Oh, gets a Marine. Link Bane is amassing. Muta so far doing well. Again, just buying time. GuMiho starts up 2-2. Starts +2. Muta's a race back to delay some of the upgrades and to force back the army. Yeah, GuMiho turns back around. Go ahead and double jump across the map. Let's go for the double drop. Again, Rogue, he's trying to stabilize from here. Oh, does deny, potentially. No, no, man. Once again, does threaten the upgrades. And then just keeping GuMiho busy. Drop across the map. Mind shots, they will. Oh, one of them will knock you off. Whew. Rogue, he's holding. He's holding, he's defending. Mutas, hey, they get some add-ons. They're buying time. And Rogue, he's getting back in this. He's getting back into this game. As GuMiho, his production here is, his production is slipping up a little bit here. I should say his macro. +3 yet to begin. GuMiho's got 1,000 minerals, almost 1,000 gas. Yeah, missing macro cycles. Does move out across the map instead. Oh, has to pull away, has to split. And again, GuMiho just doesn't have enough here. Oh, but he does deny the base. Does deny the expansion. Behind this, 12 SCV is going to be going down. Again, GuMiho still having a hard time spending his money. The macro has slipped. And that's why GuMiho is down in supply. He's down in that supply. Forcing up 21 SCV. Oh my god! Yeah, GuMiho is just being torn apart. His attention, I should say, having a really hard time keeping up with the mutas while attacking. 27 SCV kills. These mutas, they popped off. And again, no turrets. True, I should have mentioned that as well. GuMiho, he did decide to skip his turrets. He believed he could get away with it, and he didn't, right? He didn't get away with it. He lost so many SCVs. And Rogue, he's in this. Let's go. After a disastrous start, by the way, it was a very rough start for Rogue. But GuMiho, overconfident, he cut corners. Now he's making turrets after the fact. And Rogue, now he can tech. Now he can tech up. GuMiho finally spending his money. Mutas, they deny drilling claws. Nice pickup. Going for the factory as well. Once again, no turrets in the main. And the one turret in the main base, yeah, it's going to go down. In the mineral line, I should say. Going for +3. Up. Oh, can he get it? He can. Yeah, and GuMiho just out of position here. Lings into the third, Lings into the fourth. When it rains, it pours, Spaffy. Hi. As he does thankfully lift his CC. Does lift. Now, what's important for GuMiho is that he can stabilize, right? It's like he can just hunker down. Welcome to Tokamak. We just mentioned, right? Like this map is known for being very defensive. So in a couple of moments here, he should be secure. We can see GuMiho is splitting up his army. He has a force on the left. He has a force here on the right. Rogue, if I want to be critical about Rogue, late infestation pit. Late pit, late hive here from Rogue. So ideally, by now, he would be making ultras, but he's not quite there yet. So that ultra switch is still on the horizon. Still a ways away, I should say. Oh, GuMiho, yeah, once again out of position. He tried everything towards the right-hand side. You get some really rough army movement here from GuMiho. Bandits are rolling in. GuMiho, he does trade well. Does trade well. Once again, the main base. No turrets on the production. No turrets in the main. And GuMiho, he now breaks out. Does break out, denies the base. I don't think GuMiho can take this fight, though. Again, he's fighting with only like a third of his army. Everything else just now racing back home. Mutas, they keep him busy. Another turret falls. And again, these mutas have been the MVPs for Rogue, just forcing mistake after mistake out of GuMiho. GuMiho, now it feels like he's all in at this point. He's just lost everything back at home. Kites well. But again, he's just running out of Marines, running out of army. And Rogue, he does it. He kills the main. Takes down the main base. Force to pull some boys. Bit of a shaky defense here from Rogue. Uh-oh. GuMiho stimming in. We need some more Ling Pain. Oh, GuMiho. Not paying attention. Yeah, not paying attention. Does take the mains to the face. He was distracted elsewhere. Once again, this keeps happening. This does keep happening. GuMiho, he was distracted. We'll lose a planetary. And again, it's all or nothing for GuMiho. Mine going up. Mine does go up. Another decent mine here on the Lings. But Mutas, they race back. Yeah, Mutas, they race back home. Rogue, he should defend. Kings up the Liberators. Rogue just cost him 17 drones, but he still has a booming economy, at least in comparison. Wouldn't mind resetting. GuMiho pushing in. Oh, mine shots are good. Okay, not bad. But still plenty of banelings. Yeah, plenty of banelings left over, and the Mutas, they should clean up. Yeah, GuMiho is just out of steam, out of money, out of Marines. GG gets called, and Rogue, he will take the series 2-1 after a crazy comeback. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Hi, as Rogue, he had a disastrous start. It was a disastrous start out of Rogue as he was called out to the Mutas and the Link Bane that failed to do any damage at the third base. It was a really rough position there for Rogue, but GuMiho was cutting corners. He himself was also cutting corners. He was skipping out on missile turrets. Likewise, he was not quite established, or he was having a really hard time keeping units in position at his third, at his fourth, in his main base. The Mutas just tore him apart completely, and we saw that while he was trying to defend, he was banking up 1,000 minerals, 1,000 gas. He was missing upgrades. He was missing macro cycles. Again, GuMiho had a really hard time keeping up, and Rogue pulled it back. GG well played. Very impressive there by Rogue. He does recover. He does take the series. Whew. GG. Oh, camera frozen. Uh-oh. That's not good. Hold on. I'll try to rectify that. Huh. Hold on. Un momento, baby. Un momento. I'm gonna have to restart something. Just catching up. Yes. I was practicing by pressing. Sorry, just catching up with the chat. Did make turrets? He didn't have turrets in the main production, is what I mean. It's late to rebuild. When was this game played? Again, it was played last week. Played out last week. We're catching up on all those matches. But we're going to be going on a short break. I do have to fix up my webcam, so I'll be back soon. Un momento. Okay, we're back. And we're back. I do apologize here for the camera dying on us, but we should be back. We should be good to go. I'm just now catching up with the epic Cheese It Off stream. The event was super fun, and every SSG fan should catch it live if they can. Right, you were there, if I'm not mistaken, correct? I believe I saw you on the bracket, but let's go. Glad you enjoyed. The same flat factor proxy DTs in my base yesterday. Oh no. Not like this. But I'm glad you enjoyed. But with that, Rogue does take down GuMiho 2-1, and now we're getting into our next match of the broadcast. Up next is going to be Maru versus Solar. Let's go. Another TVZ. Another Terran versus Zerg. As we are going to be loading into ley lines as game number 1. But again, I do apologize if I missed out on the turrets being built in the main base mineral line, for sure. And the natural mineral line. Do apologize if I missed that. But here we go. We're getting into our next game and spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Maru. Here we go. Now, something that we mentioned coming into this, and we may as well reiterate once again, is I was curious to see how Maru was looking in this season of GSL, because we did see his kind of return to form. Again, for those that are unaware of Maru, he did take a long hiatus away from StarCraft at the start of the year, where he wasn't playing, he wasn't practicing, wasn't participating for like a good, 5 months? like four, yeah, around 5 months, around a 5 month period. But now then he did return, of course, for GSL Season 1, and he was looking a little bit rough around the edges. Basically, he was doing non-stop all-ins, non-stop 2-base all-ins and 3-base all-ins in every single matchup, except for TBT, of course. That did continue into DreamHack Dallas. That trend did continue, and now coming into GSL Season 2, I want to see if that's still the case. I want to see if that's still the case, or if we can embrace some longer macro. We'll see. For now, we do have our racks and low ground, and looks like once again, just like GuMiho, going racks expand into a factory, but being even greedier than GuMiho. Okay, going into a reactor before anything else. Ay. So delayed Reaper, delayed Marine, delayed units here for Maru. Very greedy. Behind this hatch gas pool, I do think this is really smart, specifically against Solar, just because Solar, he isn't one to cheese. Like Solar, he's probably the most standard of all Zerg players in Korea, right? When I think of, even when Dark is around, like when I think of Dark, when I think of Rogue, when I think of Shin, when I think of Solar, he's, again, the most standard, the most normal, the most, like, quote-unquote EU Zerg. And with that, Maru can take advantage of that, or his opponents can take advantage of that. So racks into reactor into CC, followed by the factory. We spoke about the advantages and disadvantages of this build, and the big downside, of course, is that if he's up against a Ro8 all-in, then the natural and the production is going to be exposed. But as we can see, I mean, as I just mentioned, Solar, he isn't really one to Ro8 all-in in TVZ. That's just not his style. So you can get away with this greed. Can get away with this. This is the most one-sided matchup we have at this top level. I would not say that. I would not say that at all. As Maru is going for a Hellbat push. So the armory has been thrown down. Now with the early reactor, now we see the purpose. The early reactor was to deny the vision, deny the scouting, and then bam, we switch into factory, into Hellbat push. Again, this is a very greedy variation, but the Link Scout does confirm. Solar, he does get into the main base, he does confirm what is going on. He is fully aware of the armory. So being shut down. Maru moving out. At least Solar, he's now aware of the Hellbats. Building up more queens. Is building up those queens. Lings are amassing as well. Again, Solar, he saw was coming ahead of time. No bailing response though, just pure Ling Queen. It is going to be a tough hold, even knowing that it was coming. Okay, Hellbats, they do more fin. The Lings, they try to collapse on the Marines. They fail to. Does get one Hellbat though. One Hellbat does go down, and Solar holds. Whew, okay, Solar, he does hold on, and behind this Maru, he is going to be embracing mech. Again, not the first time we've seen mech out of Maru. Again, when it comes to Maru's play, if Bjorn is doing something, so is Maru. And if you remember, last season, Bjorn did mech it up, and Maru now doing the same. So Bjorn and Maru, they have been embracing that mech style. Of course, GuMiho was able to pull off a very exceptional form of mech on Maganatha. Like, I'm still in awe. Like, I'm still in shock and awe as to game one on Maganatha between GuMiho and Rogue. Like, that was a crazy game. Meanwhile, ooh, faking stim. Okay. Stim is going to be revealed here at the natural, which means Solo with a Link Scout, he will believe that it's going to be Pyro. Oh. Yeah, not like this. Zergling does move out, does confirm that, yeah, the Tech Lab is researching. Now, thankfully, he's going for a safety Roach Warren. Again, it's not uncommon even against Bio to go into Roach play. It's a very safe way to play out early games EVT, is to embrace Roach production. Meanwhile, we can see, yep, the upgrade is cancelled, and we're going into Macville Accelerator. So we're going into Battle Mech. So this is a very different style than what we saw from GuMiho earlier. GuMiho, he went for a more flexible, traditional form of mech, into a bit of everything. It was crazy. Here, this is more standard. This is more just battle mech. I say more standard, of course, the build is hidden. It is hidden. And Solar's still not fully aware as to what's going on. Lair is on the way. Cyclones are building up. You know, might want to get like a mid game or a mid to late game ZVT here with Maru. It's not going to happen. At least not a biocentric one. Oh boy. It's going to be a night of StarCraft. As we are going to be rotating. Behind this is a decent amount of roaches here waiting, thankfully. As the Roach army has been amassing. Likewise, Cyclones now revealed. Now Soul is fully aware. He's aware of the mech. Ooh, but he's out of position. The base is going to be denied. Oh, I say that. Roaches are keeping up. I assume there were more Cyclones with this. So far, the Roaches, they do keep up. Ooh, two of them do go down. It's still going to be a clutch hold, though. Queen's now coming in. And there are just so many Hellions. Even if we had Zerglings, we couldn't really close the distance. Not like this. Yeah, not like this. Queens are being targeted. More chance of use being spent. Solo bleeding out so much to try to save the base, and I don't think he can. Yeah, the base does complete. Creep is spreading, but it's going to go down. Yeah, there's no saving the expansion. Massive pickup. Takes down the fourth. What's scary about what just happened, he didn't just lose the fourth base, he fought for the fourth and still lost it. Like, he bled out so many roaches in the process, and it just was not worth it. That was what that was. 6 roaches going down, 2 queens. More roaches going to be falling as they try to chase this down. At the same time, roaches, they do counterattack. True. They do hit the third. Not bad. Getting a couple of SCVs, catching some of the production. Catching reinforcements once again, getting on top of the Hellions. Solo making the best out of this situation. And he's going to keep going. Has to keep pushing. Does force a cancel. Nicely done. Denies the fourth. Denies the fourth base. And behind this Solo, he's not droning. He's not droning. He's just massing Roach, rallying everything across the map. Solo, he has to break the third. And he might just break it. Deeper's going to be going down. Hellions as well. And now pushing into the natural. Oh, gets a tank. Not bad. Takes down the tank. Denies the third. And now Solo can drone. Now Solo, he can establish his fourth base. He can double expand, drone on up. Now he's broken free. Maru does pull back home. Likewise, Solo once again denying the third. And that's what he has to do. His wing condition, deny the third base for as long as possible. Takes out one of the tanks. Gets one, gets two. Oh, barely. Doesn't get the third. Yeah, bled out a little bit too much there. Did overextend. Now switching into Swarm Host. Okay. Now, this can work considering we already see Maru switching into tank, right? Against Battle Mech, Swarm Host can really struggle, but against a more tank-heavy style, that's where Swarm Host can excel. So Swarm Hosts, they are viable here for Solar. Hellions that will hit them in our line. Oh. Getting 4 drone kills so far. Getting 4. Getting up to 7. Decent damage. They do spot the Swarm Host. Very important scouts. Behind this, we need more Cyclones. We need a more Cyclone heavy style. Or to go into Banshee like GuMiho did. Both would work. For now, what are we going for? Locust Wave towards the expansion. Oh! Cyclones, they catch out some of the Swarm Host. Something gets broken. Swarm is coming in, going for the tank line. And how many can he get? Does go for the dive. Gets one. And 1, 2, 3 tanks going down. A little bit of a lackluster Locust Wave. But he's chipping away at the tank count. You know, Maru, he's getting his 4th. Solar, he has to recognize what's going on. He cannot let this 4th base get up and running. Like Maru is one of, sorry, Solar is one of those things where the soup does lie. The soup does lie. Solar, he's maxed out. He's up, what, 60 supply? Almost 70? But it is inflated supply with Road Ravager and with Swarmhost as well. So he has to keep trading. Cannot let Maru stabilize. Gets over the tank. There we go. One tank does go down. He gets one. He barely gets two. Takes down two tanks. Trades here with the Hellbats. Cyclones, they do trade very efficiently. Take down a line of roaches. Roach is getting called out. Solar, he does pull back. And now he's towards the fourth. Now he sees. Very important here. He's now aware of the expansion. Maru does take a bounce to the face. Maru does take a bile. Locust wave in towards that third. Expansion is denied. And Solar is still in control. He's still in control, thankfully, now that he denies the base. If that fourth got up and running, that would have been disastrous. Files, they take down a Cyclone. Ravagers are exposed. Another tank goes down. Down to only Cyclone Hellbats. No more tanks. Void's being pulled, and Solar, he's done it. At this point, like, he is doing it. 0 tanks left. Takes down 10 SCVs. And yes, these Cyclones, they still out-trade the Roaches, but now we can just keep maxing out. So we can keep remaxing. Nice Fungal. Logo save is almost ready. Another Fungal will connect. Solar trickling in. Here comes that Locust Wave. And here he should collapse on the army. Oh, going for the Cyclones. He gets one, gets two. Takes on two Cyclones, so he has to get out of here. Yeah, he has to get the hell out of here. He's getting called out. Losing 3 Swarm Hosts, 4, 5. Oh my god. And you can see why we mentioned earlier how Swarm Hosts, they excel against tanks, so they struggle against Cyclones. That was 5 Swarm Hosts going down instantly. Just so fragile. As Solar, he rotates, spots the fourth. Once again, he has to deny this. He needs to deny the expansion. File zoning away. Getting a couple of SCV kills, not bad. That one Roach putting in the work. And he should take down the middle line. Massive pickoffs here. Again, as long as Maru can't expand, Solar can keep trading like this. Like, these are inefficient trades from Solar, but he has the economy, he has the bases, he can afford this. Just has to keep throwing away Roaches, and he'll get there. We'll get there. Oh. He does rotate once again. Does catch a Fungal. Very nice Fungal. Locking down some of those Cyclones. That was one Cyclone going down. And then you can see, like, for every one of these big fights, he gets like maybe 1, maybe 2 Cyclones. But what's important, gets the mineral line. 16 SCVs. Takes down another mineral line. Once again, rotates. Like, Maru, he's trading so well. But without an economy, it doesn't matter. Does not matter. He's getting his fourth up back up and running. That is dangerous. That is scary. Cannot let it get up. Locust Wave collapsing in. Not bad. Takes down a Cyclone. Zones back the Cyclones, which means the mineral line goes down. Which means the mineral line goes down once again. Takes down the mineral line. Do I want to look at the efficiency? Do I dare? Oh god! Oh god! Mineral wise, they've been some even trades. Okay, killing enough SCVs. Of course, almost double the gas count loss, but minerals, close, close. And he's gonna get another mineral line. Yeah, another mineral line should go down here. Oof. Takes out all the SCVs. Takes out all the mules. That's gonna be 32 SCVs going down. Let's go. That's a lot of Cyclones. That's a lot of Cyclones. Solar, he has to be careful here. Solar pulls away. Behind this, still maxing out. From here. Do you see the scan, trying to get a read what's going on? Maru desperately trying to expand, trying to get another CC. And again, the win condition for Solar is never to break the natural, break the third. It's just to cripple the economy, deny the base whenever he can. Ooh, tank line here at the 4th. And now that means the natural's exposed. Just poking wherever he can. Oh. Likewise lands a fungal. The chain fungal as well. Then GG gets called. Yeah, too many losses here for Maru and Solar. He will break through. He will overwhelm. Whew, and Solar will take game number 1. GG. Whew, GG, well played again. A very intense game there between Solar and Maru. I will say that I loved Maru's build. If you recall, winding it back, remember, he faked, he did so much actually. He opened up racks on the low ground, racks into factory, reactor into add-on swap, into Hellbat push. And if you remember, honestly, that could have ended the game then and there. But Solo got in. He got in with his lings and he got a full scout. And he did confirm the armory, and that should not have happened. That should not have happened. So Maru did slip up, the ling got in, and with that he was able to confirm what was happening. Back at home, he didn't overdrone, he got lings, so he got queens, he was able to defend. And then we saw Maru hide his mech transition, which also was trading quite well if you remember. Maru, he denied the 4th. He denied the 4th base, was trading well, but he did overextend, and we saw that Solo basically committed to an all-in. He went all in from there. He was able to break the siege line from there, back off, and just make sure and ensure that Maru never got a 4th. He never got a 4th base. Not the most efficient trades out of Solar, but just made sure that there was no expansion, there was no 4th, and that was the win condition for Solar. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into game number 2. We'll see if we can keep this going or if Maru can bring it back. As alluded into Tokamak. Tokamak is a much larger map in the map pool, a much more defensive map as well. If Maru were to go into mech, I do feel like it would be more favored on this map. So we'll see. We'll see if he does mech it up. As spawning in the right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg himself representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player, the red Terran himself, representing Team Vitality down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Maru. Here we go. Maru once again setting up on the low ground. And we'll see if he does go into mech once again or if he does embrace some bio. Now, the problem with Tokamak is I feel like this map is going to be working against Maru if he does go bio. Like in my mind, he's still just going to all in if he does go into a more like bio-centric style. And I feel like that's going to favor Solar here on a bit of a larger map. But we'll see. We shall see. As Solar, he had to work so hard for that win. Against the wall of cyclones. Oh god, not like this. And again, it also shows kind of like in a way the difference between the compositions of Maru and GuMiho. Like, we were giving so much praise to GuMiho in game 1 for having so much diversity when it came to his compositions, going into initially a tank heavy style, same opener by the way, same build, going for a tank heavy style, then switching into battle mech, or sorry, then switching into Vikings, then into Banshee play of course as well to snipe those infestors. Maru, he couldn't quite tech up in such a direction, partly also because he never got a 4th base. True, did never get a 4th. Meanwhile, behind this once again is going to be racks into reactor, into CC, into that factory, and I imagine we're going for another add-on swap into more Hellions. The real question becomes, do we go for another Hellbat push? Do we go for another armory? Are we going to do the exact same build 2 games in a row? I would hope not, but I wouldn't put it past Maru. Would not put it past him. Behind this hatch gas pull into a 3rd, a standard opener here out of Solar. Yep, there's the add-on swap. And we're going for the third CC. Okay, third CC is on the way. I believe by now we would have seen, and I mean, hold on. I believe by now we would have seen an armory, so it looks like we're going for what looks to be the same opener for the most part, except this time no Hellbats. As the Marines are hunting down Overlords, we can see Solar, he is in position. He does hide his Overlord shield on top of the pillars. They are safe. Overlords are safe. Behind this, going for the tech lab. Are we going for another add-on swap? Are we going for a 2-1-1? Okay. Maru, he has my attention. Yep, there it is, Dalibe. We are setting up for a faster Rax. Now, this setup here with the incredibly fast Dalibe before the starport, before the second Rax, this screams a Rax. As we mentioned, even leading up to this game, if we saw Bio out of Maru, I would imagine he's going to go for a 3-base all-in, go for an 8 Rax. This does scream that. So Maru is cutting corners, he's going to be rushing into his 1-1 and 2-2 upgrades. And ideally, 2-2 is lined up with the 3-base all-in. So we've seen this build before from Maru. We'll see how Solar responds to this. We'll see how he scouts. We'll see if he can piece it all together. Solar is being active. Catching out some Marines, not bad. Again, the Marines out in the open. And that's going to be 3, 4, 5. Oh god, every Marine is going to be going down here. Hellion does arrive just in time. Is that Hellion trapped? Okay, thank god. Not trapped. And the Link Scouts doesn't quite confirm. He does see the third CC, but he doesn't get eyes on the double eBay. So incomplete information here from Solar. Behind this, going into roaches. This is just a really, really common way to play nowadays, just because it's so difficult to defend against bio-heavy pressure and against 8 Raxes when you open up Link Bay. Like, roach openers are just safer. They're just a lot safer. We saw Shin excel with them, of course. If you saw Shin at DreamHack, he was going for a non-stop roach play to survive the early game and to get into Link Bane Roach Ravager, into eventually Ultras. And we have seen Solar doing the same as of late. He has also been going for that more Ultra style. Double Evo chambers. From here, we'll see if we go into melee or range upgrades. If we're going into melee, then we know where this is headed. Okay, range. +1 range initially. So that means we're going to be sticking with Roach Ravager a little bit more here. Now, I'm not expecting +2 range. I expect +1 range into +1 melee. But Roach Ravager heavy style initially to establish ourselves on 4 bases. So this is a much safer approach out of Solar. Meanwhile, third base being taken. There's that 2-2. Again, we're waiting for that 2-2 timing. I believe right now we're getting into a 5 rack setup. Yep, 5 racks so far. And we're expecting to see 3 more racks behind this. And again, this is going to hit like a truck. It's going to hit hard. Initially, we do have our Hellbat push, but there should be enough roaches. Yeah. There are enough roaches to defend. Now, this early push that Maru just went for, that just got shut down, this tells me that the A-Rax is going to be weaker. He just lost how many? He just lost 2 Hellbats. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that honestly really supports the A-Rax quite nicely, specifically to protecting those tanks. So it does lose a couple of Hellbats. Behind this, 2 more Raxes on the way. We're expecting 1 more. So he's up to 7. Okay, he's up to a 7-rack setup. And we don't expect him to take gases. So basically what we're expecting here from as soon as we saw the double eBay is no gases at the third base, into an A-Rack setup, into a 3-base all-in. And he's almost there. Again, he's still waiting a little bit longer here for +2. Solar, he cuts workers. Okay, never mind. Solar, he's gonna hit first. This I was not expecting. Solar, he cuts droning here at 70. Does move up with Ling Roach Ravager. Solar, he's maxed out. Let's go. And he's going to hit Maru before the A-Rax is ready. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be almost like an anti-timing to Maru. Where Solar's pushing in. 2-2 is still seconds away. Again, Maru, he's not ready yet. And Solar's pushing in. So far, does bow down, does focus on the initial Hellbats. Trying to get on top of the tanks. And he's so close. He's so close. And otherwise, oh my god, they don't quite connect. The tank will eventually go down. It is dealing quite a bit of damage, actually. And that one tank putting in a lot of work, but it looks like Solar, he's done it. He has done it. He breaks through the Marines, breaks through the Bio. And again, this hits just before the 8 racks. Very nicely timed here, very nicely thought out of Solar. So many people have been wondering, how do you deal with these 3-base all-ins that have been so popular? Just you all in first. Let's go. Does strike first. Yeah, without Maru, he cannot keep up. He cannot keep up, not anymore. Again, Soul just reading Maru like a book. Did shut him down. With this, Maru is stuck on 2 bases, and Solo should overwhelm. He should overwhelm here. I mean, he doesn't even need to. Just like the last game, his wing condition just contain the Terran on 2 bases. Doesn't have to break him, but he's going for it. He wants it. He wants the kill. Vials down the tank. The tank goes down, and there's nothing left. There's nothing here. Nothing left. Boys are being pulled. GG gets called, and Solar, he will take the 2-0, and he will take down Maru, advancing on into the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Solar, he does claim the series. Again, a very well thought out build here out of Solar. Now, again, if you've been watching Maru as of late, you would know that Maru is very predictable. He's very predictable as of late. If you remember, at the start of the broadcast, we mentioned how during GSL Season 1 and during DreamHack Dallas, what did Maru do? He went for non-stop all-ins. He went for non-stop 2-base all-ins and 3-base all-ins. And he was going for one here as well. He was going for a 3-base all-in here on Tokamak. He was going for the 8 racks well ahead of time. And this build that Solo went for is designed to hard counter an 8 rack. So really, really well thought out. And again, even though Solo didn't scout and didn't confirm the 8 racks, because Maru has been very predictable as of late, Solar does just assume and does shut him down. So very well thought out, does hard counter Maru. GG takes the 2-0. Game 1 was a lot closer, was a lot more clutch, and I'll be honest, I've been waiting for this. Like, I've been waiting to see what's how the meta shifts. For those that are curious, right now the meta is in flux. What I mean by that, there's been a lot of all-ins in TVP and a lot of all-ins in ZVP, and players have been like adjusting and trying to figure that out as a result. Specifically, Terran players have been going for a lot of all-ins at both matchups. And there's just been a lot of all-ins from Terran against Zerg and against Protoss. And we've seen Protoss players adjust, going for safer builds and going for earlier storm timings and earlier charge timings as a result to survive those all-ins in TVP. Likewise, we have seen Zerg players struggle to adapt here, so I was curious to see what Solo would be cooking in preparation for an 8 racks, and we saw it. He did hit with 70 drones. He was on 3-base saturation. He was on 1 extra gas at the 4th base to afford more Ravagers, and he maxed out off of 70 drones with Ling, Roach, Ravager, and he hit just before 2-2 finished, and just before the 8th racks really got up and running, before the tank count got too high. Again, this build was specifically designed to hard counter the 8 racks. GG, well played. Whew. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Maru won't lose this if he played it 100 times. I feel like this is like, again, like a bit of a lack of understanding as to how Maru's been playing as of late. Like Maru, he's been playing very, very specifically over the past couple of months. And we saw it at DreamHack, we saw it in GSL Season 1 as well. Maru's been very, again, just hyper aggressive. But what I will say is that that's not the case in TVT. And I'm going to be excited. To see how things turn out as we do switch things over and catch up on the bracket here. From the top, we have Rogue. Rogue takes down GuMiho 2-1. We have Solar taking down Maru 2-0. And as a result, we do have our following matchups here. It is going to be a little bit bugged out. Oh no. Hopefully we can fix that up. But it is going to be Rogue versus Solar in the winners match and GuMiho versus Maru in the losers match. Oh boy. So that is going to be coming up next. Oh. Sorry, our spreadsheet is a little bit messed up. So hopefully we can fix that up. But even though Maru has been hyper aggressive and hyper all in against Protoss and against Zerg, he has been playing standard against Terran. So that TVT between GuMiho and Maru, that's going to be a spicy one. It's going to be a spicy one. So I do look forward to that. Meanwhile, Rogue versus Solar, that's going to be crazy as well. Rogue, he is very tricky in ZVZ. Been watching him as of late. He has had so much specific and specialized builds in ZVZ, going for crazy all-ins, crazy timings. I expect that to be a short series, not gonna lie. I expect that to be a short series here. Between Rogue and Solar, GuMiho and Maru, I can see that going the distance, 100%, and that's going to be a hard one to call. GuMiho and Maru, they've been having a really back and forth history as of late. We have seen, if you remember, GuMiho did defeat Maru in the GSL Season 1 qualifiers, and then Maru beat GuMiho, I want to say in the GSL Season 2 qualifiers. Like, I remember he had his rematch. And if you remember, Maru, he even infamously, Maru, he did play Protoss against GuMiho last season. It was in the group stage, right? It was in, I think it was group stage 2? I think it was either group stage 1 or group stage 2, where Maru, he played Protoss, yeah, it was group stage 2. We played Protoss against GuMiho to avoid that TVT. We might see that again, by the way. We might see Maru also whip out the Protoss for a second time, just because GuMiho is a TVT specialist. So that's gonna be crazy. We'll get there. It is gonna be crazy. For now, though, we're going to be going on a break. Again, we're halfway through the broadcast. We're going to go on a short break here, and then we'll be jumping into that next round. But again, so a couple things in regards to like the meta and how things are changing. If this build does rise in popularity against Terran players going for the 8 racks, then 8 racks are going to die down, and then we're going to be seeing some more standard play once again. Like, that's typically how the meta kind of like shifts and turns. Like, if something rises in popularity that's really strong, if players find out a better way to deal with it, then that build kind of like dies down a little bit, and then you get back into more standard play. So I know a lot of people have been really concerned and really scared about the fact that we have been getting a lot of all-ins in a lot of matchups, but I do think that that's slowly changing, just as players are getting better at defending against those all-ins, as we're seeing here, and as we're also seeing in TVP as well. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll have our next series. We'll have Solar and Rogue facing off. See you soon. See you soon after the break. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the winners match. So the winners match here of the 2025 GSL Season 2 Round of 8 Group A. We just wrapped up with the first two matches of the broadcast. Now we're here to catch up on the winners match. We have our ZVZ ready for us. We have Rogue and Solar facing up to determine who will make it through into the next round, into the semifinals. And again, I expect this to be a short series. I'll be I mean, I'm very fond of Rogue ZVZ. I'm very fond of it. It's very chaotic, it's very intense, and Solar usually kind of meets that intensity as well. So we do expect this to be an intense back and forth. Of course, if you recall, Solar, he is renowned for his ZVZ. At GMAC Dallas, he was the one that was able to force several to the ace match, if you recall, in their group stage match, I should say, in the previous round match. And Solar also down Shin in the upper semi-final. So Solar, he did excel when it came to a ZVZ, but Rogue, he is just a very tricky player. Like, you think Solar's one to like cut workers and go for all-ins. Rogue, he's one to cut workers, go to high tech, fake out tech, then actually commit to the tech, and then go for a crazy offbeat all-in instead. Like, Rogue can be very chaotic in ZVZ, more so than Solar. So I'm ready for it. Let's go. Let's go. Game one is going to be on Persephone. Let's go. Really, this is when both players decide, because they're so aggressive, they like cancel each other out and we just drone and we just get into Roach v Roach. Like, that's I don't expect that to happen, but it could technically. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the blue Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Team Falcons as well. It is Rogue. Here we go. We have our ZVZ. We have our initial matchup here. And so far, so good. We don't really expect much deviation here. Solar does open up with an extractor trick, going for a 15-15, or going for, I guess, a 16 hatchery timing, or 15. So a slightly earlier hatchery here into what should be an earlier spawning pool into a later gas. We'll keep an eye on the Solar. Likewise, welcome to Persephone. Persephone is going to be a bit of a shorter rush distance by ground, more direct rush distance as well. Aggression can be favored on this map. I assume that we're going for an earlier pool, but never mind. It's going to be a hatch gas pool. So far, we have our standard openers. The hatchery is slightly faster for Solar because of the earlier extractor trick, but outside of that, everything's looking as it should. From here, there are certain timings that we're going to be keeping our eye open for. We're going to be looking for the timing of the Bailey Nest, the Roach Warren, and the Eva Chamber, and the third base. Like, depending on whether we delay the third, get earlier tech, if we go for a hidden Eva Chamber, if we go for a faster Roach Warren, like all those tech structures that we did mention, they all do have weight behind them. They'll have meaning behind them when it comes to how aggressive or how safe or how tech heavy we intend on being. On a map like Persephone, I don't really expect to see too much 2-base play. I wouldn't imagine. So now, we're droning up. We're droning, we are saturating. Again, just hatch gas pool out of Rogue. And from here, we should soon be expanding and claiming our third bases. Of course, the Overlords, they confirm, right? They confirm that everything's looking normal, everything's looking standard. We pull out one of gas from the main base of Solar, and likewise, so does Rogue. So no earlier gas income, just 2 and 2. So we do pull out. Lings, they move out to scout each other. Third bases are being taken. Okay, so no one is playing 2-base. As we mentioned, like, Persephone is just not really built for 2-base play. And there's that Bailey Nest from the side of Solar. We should be seeing one. There we go, from Rogue. Is on the way. So far, so good. No one is cutting corners. No one is cutting corners. Ling is shut down. We have a safety amount of Lings on the way for both players. 10 and 6. From here, we are just saturating. Now, from here, what we're waiting for is the Roach Horn timing. We're looking for our Roach Horn. We're looking for an Evo Chamber. Speaking of, okay, we do have the initial Evo Chamber out of Rogue. Alright, it's going to be on Solar. As Link Speed does kick in, Solar moves out. Behind this, there should be, yep, a defensive Baneling. Just one Baneling to defend it from Rogue. And Solar, he does hide his Roach Horn. Okay, so Solar, he's going for an earlier Roach Horn timing instead. An earlier Roach production. No Evo Chamber. On the side of Rogue, he will have access to faster upgrades. There we go, going into +1 range. So Solar, he should hit first. He should hit first. He should hit hard. Baneling Nest is up. Oh, it barely doesn't finish in time. That was what, half a second off. That was so close. It was so close. Solar, he pulls away. Roach production should be on the horizon. Almost ready. Almost ready. Baneling survives. Oh, never mind. Get sniped. Solar behind this Roach production has begun. And he should be pushing soon. You can see here the Solar, he's not droning, is making a wave of Lings. Massing up Roaches. Rogue, his own Roach Horn is going to be late as a result because of the early Evo Chamber. And Solar's pushing. Solar, he is moving out. Now what's important, this is a fake out. There's a fake out here from Solar. He is pushing, don't get me wrong. He has Roaches as well, but he is droning up. He's droning behind this. So he's hoping to try to force an overreaction. Rogue, he's forced to make Roaches. Now what's scary here is that he's forcing an overreaction, that is true, but this overreaction is going to hit with +1. Oh! Queen doesn't get surrounded. Yeah, no surround. Wings, they pull away. And Rogue, he will have a stronger timing here with +1 range. We'll have that stronger timing. Overlords are amassing. And Solar's been droning. Solar, he's been droning this entire time. Likewise, he's taking up into a lair. He's taking gases, getting into +1 range. These are all things that I don't think are going to factor into the fight. And Rogue is going to send it. He's just going to send it across the map. You see here he cut works at 44. Basically, these are fake drones. It looks like he's been droning. He hasn't. He transferred. You can see here under saturation at the natural. So this is a fake out. He is just going all in. And has been banking Roaches in the natural. And Solar has no idea. He has no idea what's been going on. Solar, now he starts Roach production. It's going to be a tough hold. Now, there we go. Spine Crawlers. He needs them. Spine Crawlers are being thrown down. The all-in has been revealed. And Solar, nothing. Rogue either kills Solar or he dies trying. He's going to send everything across the map. Solar back at home. He's got through 3 Spine Crawlers on the way. Solar, he's down 20 army supply. And this is going to be a tough hold. Now, he does have Queens. Does have Transfuse. So he has Queens, Transfuse. He can pull the boys. He probably should have to pull the boys. And Spine Crawlers. Solar, he can pull this off. He needs a little bit more time. All-in moves in. Takes down the Baneling. Zoning back the army. Yeah, the Plows, they do zone the army back. Spine Crawlers, they're now coming into play. And again, Solar, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Solar. He just needs a little bit more time, a little bit more Roaches. Just a little bit more. The army gets zoned away. Files once again, forcing back Solar, takes down the Evo Chamber. But +1 is done. +1 is complete. Banelings, they run into Roaches, not ideal. And Rogue, has he done it? Has he pulled through? And it's getting close here. The Roaches are being cleaned up. The boys are being pulled. There's one Spine Crawler coming into play. And Solar's gonna lose all his drones. Yeah, 15 drones going down. Lings, they reinforce, and Rogue has done it. Rogue, he has done it. Ooh, he does overwhelm, takes down the Roaches, takes down the Queens, takes down everything. And GG gets called. Rogue, he pulls it off again. He hit the all-in. He had fake drones at his third base, and Rogue takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, Solar, he believed that Rogue was droning. He believed that we were building up into a longer game. Rogue, instead, he cut workers. Was at 44. He cut workers very early on at 44. Again, he had fake drones at the third base. He transferred over, and he was hiding his Roaches at the natural. Was hiding them. GG, well played with that. He does catch Solar with his pants down. Does catch him with his pants down. And again, this is what I mentioned coming into this, how Ro8 can be a very tricky player to play against. He does really enjoy hiding tech. Hiding builds. And tricking his opponents. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Incorporeal. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. Spawning in the top left-hand corner. We have the red Zerg player, also representing Team Falcons, leading the series 1-0 and one game away from making it through into the next round. It is Rogue. Here we go. Once again, we do see a 15 hatch timing out of Solar. Ooh, this time going for a 15-15. Interesting. So we are building up. Going for the Overlord. We are going to be building up here. And again, when it comes to Solar, and if you've been watching Solar versus Serral and Solar versus Shin, Solar, he thrives when his opponent plays standard, right? Like if his opponent is playing standard, if Solar can be the one to dictate the pace of the game, then Solar's all over it. Then that's where Solar excels. That's why he does so well against Serral, for example. But if his opponent is also doing the same thing, if his opponent is also mind gaming and also being hyper aggressive and also cutting corners and going for all these twists and turns, I mean, that's where things get chaotic. that's where things get a little bit more uneasy. We'll see. We'll see how our players do adjust. So far, Hatch Gas Spool, standard opener out of Rogue. Solo going for a later Gas Geyser. An earlier pool. I believe that was hatch pooled gas. Now, because of this gas disparity, it looks like Solar, he might play 2-base. He might play 2-base here instead. Yeah, like his gas income is going to be so much more later here in comparison. Because of that, because of this, there's a high chance that Solar's just going to skip link speed. He just skips link speed. He throws down a Roach Horn, a Neva Chamber. He walls up on 2 bases, and then from here he can go into 2-base Roach or into 2-base Muta. As link speed is now on the way for Rogue at a standard timing. So link speed has begun. 3rd base should soon be taken. And Rogue, he moves out for the scout. Solar should not take a 3rd. Slings, they do dip in. Rogue is expanding. And again, Solar should not. Yeah, he just moves down the queens. He's got a 3rd and 4th queen on the way. He can afford these queens because he's not expanding. So again, Solar, he's playing 2-base. The reason why we knew this is because his gases were late. The reason why he can't expand is because of the link speed timing. Basically, if Solar tried, if he went for this opener, if he went for this build, if he tried to expand and get a 3rd, he would just be overrun and overwhelmed by Link Bane. Because he's going to be behind in link speed and he won't have gas for Banelings either. So he would just die. Here, the correct move to go for, is to skip the Baneling Nest. So Rogue, he confirms, he scouts, he sees the high queen count, he sees there's no expansion. So Rogue, the correct thing to do is to skip Banelings because Banelings are useless and go into Roach Ravager instead. Again, the reason why you don't need Banelings is because there are no links, right? There's no link speed, there's no Zerglings, there's no need for Banelings. So Rogue, he's cutting corners, he's being efficient, he's reacting to what he's seeing. Rogue, he will have the greater economy. Ooh, and Rogue going for the earlier Roach Horn. Interesting. I mean, I almost feel like this can just be a part of the wall at this point. Going for +1 Carapace. This does look like a this does look like a Ling Roach All-In. He's going for the Solar. Solar, he popularized this build. I say Ling Roach, a Ravager Ling All-In. At least that's what this should be. Meanwhile, Solar, he's just walling up on 2 bases. We did mention at the start that Solar had the option to go into 2-base Muta. Like, he still can turn this into 2-base Muta with the completion of the lair. Otherwise, just 2-base Roach. Otherwise, just 2-base Roach out of Solar. +1 range tells us it's most likely going to be Roach play. Otherwise, it'd be +1 melee. Meanwhile, Rogue is not droning. Rogue, he can drone freely. Like, he has no reason not to drone, but he's not. We mentioned because of this +1 Carapace, this does scream 2-base All-In. The 3rd is just for Larva. Now, I'm on the fence about going for a 2-base All-In against a player that's playing 2-base. Like, like, if Solo's being greedy, then sure, this could work, but I'm a little bit less convinced. Overseer comes in, sees Ravagers. Now he knows. Yeah, Solar, he knows. Sees the upgrade, sees Ravagers. This screams Ravager Ling all in. So Solar, he should be backing off. We need Spine Coolers. As Roaches are amassing. I mean, as we mentioned, because Solar's playing 2-base Roach anyway, and there's a cancellation, there are the Spines. These are late Spine Coolers, though. Spine Coolers are late, and the refund was late as well. Rogue is moving in. And can Rogue break a 2-basing player? I'm not convinced, but sure. let's go. Ideally, he wants to surround. Like, ideally, the point of a Ling Ravager all in is that the Lings, they lock down the army, and then Ravagers pile it down. Going for the wall. Tells go for the Roach Warren. Lings, they do engage, but they don't quite get the surround. And again, we're hoping for the surround. Nice snipe. Nice snipe on the initial Roach Warren. Does focus on the Eva Chamber. He is opening up at the natural. Does open it up. Behind this, Lair is now on the way. Interesting. Getting to his lair. Ideally, he wants to lure out the army. And coming for the surround. Does come in. Biles, they do connect. Oh, and Rogue, he's not getting enough done here. Yeah, we do fully wall off. Lings are being cleaned up, and Solar holds. Solar heals, he shuts this down. Again, I had my doubts to go for a Ling Ravager all in against a player that's already just going 2-base, and yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It shouldn't work. And Solar, he defends nicely. From here, now he can re-expand. And remember, Solar, he's ahead. He has a high drone count. He's been mining more for longer this entire time. He has been mining. He rebuilt his Roach Warren. And now Rogue is in a very rough position. Now, fun fact, if Solar was going 2-base Muta, this would have worked. True. So my assumption is that that's what Rogue was hoping for. He was just gambling. Like, Rogue, he was just gambling. He's like, oh, you're playing 2-base? You know what? If you're going into Muta, I can kill you. He wasn't, though, is the problem. Likewise, not just that, but if Solar was going for a 2-base all-in, as in if he didn't fully saturate on 2 bases, if he was staying on a low drone count and going for an earlier Roach all-in instead, then Rogue would have also hard countered that as well. So there are certain builds and certain exceptions where this style out of Rogue, or this build specifically, would have worked, but Solar's playing standard. Like, Solar's just droning. He was just droning, building up on 2 bases, getting a third. So it was a big gamble there from Rogue, which didn't quite pay off. And Solar should be running away with this. Now, Rogue, he's recovering. You know, he's now droning, and he's now working on Roach speed. We do have, a massive surround, actually. Okay. Does surround the expansion. Will get a kill. Yeah, there's no stopping this. There's no stopping this. The base is going to go down. Nice pick off here by Rogue. Very impressive. Okay. He snipes the expansion. This +2 timing is going to be brutal, though. Working towards +2. While they catch out the Overlord. Overlord goes down. Rogue looking to collapse in. Does collapse in. Likewise, Rogue coming in here to the fight, trying to once again surround, but he's up against so many Roaches. So many Roaches, so many Ravagers. Solar, he should be able to hold his own. He avoids the Biles for the most part. And yeah, Rogue, he's run out of steam. GG gets called, and Solar ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. We're going to the ace match. And again, Rogue's build, I can see 2 specific scenarios where it would have worked, is if Solar was going 2-base Muta, or if he was going for a 2-base all-in, a 2-base Roach all-in. Unfortunately, it was neither, right? Unfortunately, Solar, he was going 2 bases, macroing up, and getting to a slower 3rd base instead. Like, he was playing standard, and Yeah, Rogue, he got a little bit too excited, was just assuming that Solo was going for something more cheeky than he was, and with that, the build did fall in his face. That Ling Ravager just did not trade well at all. He got outscaled as he was cutting workers early, and GG. GG well played. With that, we're going into the ace match. Let's go. We're jumping into game 3, jumping into ley lines. And again, this all just kind of lines up with the kind of player that Rogue is. Like, he just takes risks. He just he just gambles all the time. Like, let's go. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Team Falcons being forced into the ace match. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player. Oh, hello. Oh my god. Going for a 13-12. He's crazy. Bottom left hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg also on Team Falcons. It is Solar. Okay, 13-12 out of Rogue. A very rare sight at this level of play with this early link speed, and this should lead into banelings as well. Oh. Okay. Okay. Let him cook. Now, when you go for a 13-12, typically you do not expand. You do not expand. You do not get a natural base. We can see here that Rogue, because of this, he's actually banking up lava because he did decide to go for an expansion here. This is a fake out. I believe this is a fake out expansion to make it look like it's a 12 pool when it's not. Or not even 12 pool, just look like a more standard build. And he's hiding his aggression. Yeah, I believe this is designed to make it look like a 12 pool. Okay. He pulls out link speed. So he's rushing into link speed. He's not going for a Bane bust, but he is going for a link flood. He's revealing the early links. The Overlord will confirm the hatchery timing, but what is going to be catching Solar off guard is the link speed timing. Because typically, if there's a hatchery at this early on, it should be a 12 pool, which means there shouldn't be gases. There should not be gases here for Rogue. From here, Solar. Oh wait, what? Solar rushing into an Evo chamber. Going for his own link flood, going into plus on melee. Okay, so this means that Solar's going to be delaying link speed. He's going to go for plus on melee, then into delay link speed instead, and then he's going to go for a link flood. So we have Solar going for one link flood, Rogue going for another. Rogue hits first. Rogue is going to hit first, is the reality. The Overlord confirms there's a hatchery, so everything looks normal. I say this is meant to look like a 12 pool. This, because he hit the links, this looks like a hatch first. Oh boy. Oh no. So again, the build that Solar's going for, fast plus on melee into delay link speed. The way this works is that link speed and melee hits at the same time. So he's waiting a little bit longer here for 100 gas to start link speed. But the problem here is, remember, it was a 13-12. Remember, Rogue, he hits first. Like, Solar's going for a link flood, but it's going to be too late. And we're about to pull the trigger. Here we go. Lings are flooding across the map. Link speed is done now. He's going for the queen. He wants it. Oh, he gets to surround. Surrounds the first queen. The boy's being pulled away. Takes out the first queen, and there's nothing here. Again, there's just really late link speed. Plus one melee is cancelled. Going for the responsive rate. Going for the Baneling nest. Going for the Bane follow-up, and Lings, what do we go for? Ooh, a little bit indecisive. What are we going for? Going for the natural. Natural is surrounded. Natural will go down. And now we can just focus on the main. We're now just getting secure damage. Baneling nest is still on the way. Surrounds the queen. Oh no, he gets to surround. Boys are being pulled. And can he save the queen? He barely can. Nice control. Very nice hold position micro here out of Solar. He saves the queen just barely. But I can't say the same for the second queen. Second queen does go down. There's one queen left. There's one queen away. He wants the queen. He's gonna get it. Oh my god, it's so close. It's so very close. He gets it. He gets the final queen. Spinecrawler does finish, and Solar, he will hold here on one base behind this Rogue. Now he starts droning, but we are in an awkward game state. Okay. Couple of things. One, link speed is still not done for Solar, but it's about to finish up. Once it does, he can be active, and even though he lost his base, he saved the drones, right? He's on a high drone count. Rogue, he has not been droning for quite some time, so even though Rogue is up a base, his economy is still not what it needs to be. Still not what it needs to be. Nice big off by Rogue, getting wherever he can. Oh. Dancing with the army. Rogue, he needs to drone as much as possible. And Solar is going for plus on Carapace. Interesting. I mean, Carapace will help in Link Bane fights, for sure. Trying to bait him in. Oh! He's trying to bait. Solar, he will finally expand. And Solar, he should be able to hold here. The problem being, I believe Rogue should be able to outscale him. Like, he should be able to drone, outscale, takes down a Baneling. Ugh. Miscontrol there from Solar. Again, every Baneling is precious here, this early on. And Rogue, he's droning, saturating. It is late from Rogue, that is true, but as time progresses, he's getting further ahead just because he's on 2 bases. Like, he has more efficient mining. Solar, he's oversaturated. Now, long distance mining. Now, Solar, he will have that earlier +1 Carapace timing, and he may just go for a Ling Bane all-in. That might be the play. Otherwise, this can turn into Ling Ravager. But, like, Solar, he can't really afford Ravagers is the problem. He can't afford Roaches. We'll see what this turns into. As that is going to be the one advantage for Solar is the upgrades. Is that one advantage. Meanwhile, Rogue just playing 2 base. I think this is smart. Like, Rogue, he shouldn't take a third. Like, why risk it? So Rogue is playing safe. Walling up on 2 bases. Solar, he did scout the wall, so he responds with his own third. Good call. Solar takes a third, recognizing that Rogue is going to be contained. Rogue going to +1 range. I would imagine that Solar's going to turn this into a +1 range as well. I would imagine. Now moving in. Oh, he gets in! Oh, that should not have happened. Gets us around. Clutch Transfuse. Very Clutch Transfuse. Queen does move in position. Solar busting into the main. Let's try to bust in. Takes out all the Zerglings. Not bad. Plus on Carapace coming into high gear here. Up. Can he get the Queen? He should. He should barely get the Queen. The boys were not pulled to defend. Rogue, he was distracted. Queen goes down. Again, that should not have happened. Gets 3 drones as well. Okay. Solar is popping off. Solar trading well. Again, Solar, he's recovering in this game. He's almost there. Now, the question from me becomes, does Rogue expand? Does he drone? Or does he expand, then go for a push? I mean, this goes for both players. Like, do we commit to saturating? Do we commit into a longer game? Or do we double down and be hyper-aggressive? Things are deflected. Zerglings are deflected. Solar, he runs up to 48. Gets up to 4 gases, and now he's fixated on pure roach production. Yeah, just pure roaches. And Rogue, it's his turn to drone. Uh-oh. Rogue, he's droning up quite a bit. So is Solar. Okay. Both players are droning. Both players are droning. Both players are building up. Rogue is catching up on upgrades, getting into 2-1. Going for Overlord speed. Okay. Setting up for Dropperlords. I like it. So far the game is slowing down. Both players, they go up to a half base saturation at their third, I should say Rogue is. So likewise going up to proper 3 base saturation. Oh because his main base was oversaturated earlier. So the main base for Solo mined out faster. So he's on proper saturation. Worker counts are even. Here come the drop lords here from Rogue. We did mention with Overlord speed that does give access to drop lords. And Burrow and Tunneling Claw Roach is doing everything. Just all things Roach. Roach drops, borrowed roaches. But the game is slowing down. We see Solo doing the same, going for a little bit later Overlord speed, but he's getting there. Getting to speed. Overlord's moving in. So far he's moving in. Both players are soon to max out. When it comes to upgrades, they're now evening up. Getting into 2-1 from both sides. The main base is exposed. So we have an exposed main. Solo also going into borrowed roaches. Rogue he does hit first, hits the main base. Rogue's main army does move out. Is going for the 4th. Meanwhile, Solo here overreacts. Yeah, sends too much in the main. Likewise, borrowed roaches into the natural. We're traveling right back across the map as well. But Rogue he is getting damage done. Busting into the bases, pushing on forward. Oh! He kites back. Far kites well. Back at home, Rogue he defends. Meanwhile, there's still roaches in the bases, but they're being cleaned up. So he defends. So he's holding on, he's defending. Meanwhile, the base barely survives. But Solo's beating out a lot of units here. A lot of roaches are going down, a lot of ravagers as well. Rogue he's reinforcing. Still quite close. But he has ravagers. Yeah, he does have ravagers here. He can force Micro out of Solar. Ooh, piles are connecting. Oh, nice target firing. So he does focus on those Ravagers. Does focus him, but he's being overrun. Yeah, he's being overwhelmed. As you mentioned, he did overreact earlier to the harass. The base goes down. And Rogue's done it. He has done it. He does break through. A kind of very chaotic ZVZ. Even this game with the initial hidden 13-12. With the fake expansion, with the Ling Flood. Was crazy. But alas, Solo took a little bit too much damage early on, and even though we were stabilizing, we were getting there, he was just torn apart by the Tunneling Claw Roaches and by the drops as well. And with that, Rogue, he has too much. He has too much. Breaks through the main army. GG gets called, and Rogue, he will take the series 2-1, advancing on into the semifinals. GG. GG. Congratulations, Rogue. He will claim the series. He will advance on into those semifinals. Not gonna lie, I'll be honest, I was definitely gonna be leaning towards players like GuMiho, like Solar to make it through. But again, Rogue excelling here in the ZVZ with some very, very intentional builds, I should say. In every game, even the game that he lost, if you remember, like he went for the Ravager Ling all in on Incorporeal. Unfortunately against a standard play, of course. Even in game 1, if you remember, he cut workers, he faked droning at the 3rd, he went for a roach all in there as well, and here he did go for a fake natural base, going for a hidden Ling Flood, and in a way almost hard countering Solar. As a reminder, what did Solo go for this game? He went for early Eva Chamber into +1 melee, and what does that mean? That means he had late Link Speed, because he delayed Link Speed to get faster +1, and then when he realized what was happening, he had to cancel +1, he had to start Link Speed. Like, it was just a very chaotic start, and unfortunately Solo, he was caught with his pants down. Did stabilize, kind of, like we did end up with almost maxed out armies towards the end there. Solo, he was able to bring himself back into that game, which was impressive, but unfortunately was unable to keep up with the movements, with the multiplying aggression of Rogue. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations. With that, Rogue, he will claim the series, and he'll be the first to make it through into the semis. And who will join him? That is the question. Who will join him? We are getting into this, and up next is going to be our TVT. So we had a couple of mirror matchups here. Up next is going to be Maru versus GuMiho in a turn versus Terran. And again, these two have a bit of a history here. If you remember, GuMiho did defeat Maru during the GSL Season 1 qualifiers. We did cover that, and GuMiho he was able to flex and able to show off his TVT prowess, of course. Likewise, that then led into their rematch that they had in the last, also in the group stage, where Maru played Protoss. Maru, he did play Protoss against GuMiho, and he was not able to catch him off guard. GuMiho, he was able to shut him down in that TVP. Then Maru got his revenge. I believe it was in this season's qualifiers. Maru, he was able to bring down GuMiho during the winners match, during the winners matches, I should say, of this season's GSL. Of course, both players still made it through into GSL, but Maru, he was able to get his revenge, and now they face off once again. This time, just checking, in a TVT. Okay. So Maru, he's not playing Protoss this time. He's not playing Protoss. He's not going to be off racing. This time he's going to be committing to his main race. And I'm a little bit concerned about this. This is the elimination match. This is the elimination match. The loser of this series is going to be eliminated from GSL. And more importantly, I'm concerned about the possible mech versus mech. GuMiho, he does very often embrace mech in TVT, and Maru, he does mix it up. Like, he can play biotank or he can play mech. He does enjoy mixing it up in this matchup as well. So we could end up in a mech versus mech matchup. I'm hoping we don't, but it's possible. It is very possible here. Let's find out. Let's jump into game number 1. Let's jump into Ultra Love. Let's go. And again, we've been casting so much TVT as of late from the Korean scene. If you're here for the EWC Korea qualifiers, you would know that we casted Bunny, Ryung, Byun, GuMiho, and Kyor. All those 5 Terrans, they face off so often in those qualifiers. We casted so many TVTs between all of them, and now that does continue. Again, Korea has become over time a more Terran heavy kind of region, as seen in those qualifiers, but here we have 2 of them, and we'll see who comes out on top of this. TVT is spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love. We have our South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Seoul Esports, SAUL. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Maru. Ooh, as GuMiho, he does open up with a proxy 2x Reaper. Let's go. So 2x Reaper here out of GuMiho. Meanwhile, Maru, does he take a second gas? Does Maru play safe, or does he play greedy? If he goes for a Rax Expand, there is a chance that GuMiho can get damage done and potentially snowball into a win. Ooh. Single gas. Yeah, single gas opener. What does this mean? Maru, he's going for a Rax Expand, but Maru, he's scouting. Yeah, he's going for the SCV scout. He does move in, and he will get eyes on the Raxes. Big scout here for Maru. He sees what's coming. He can now respond and shut it down. Ooh, oh boy. So a very nice scout here from Maru. From here, he won't be able to stop the Raxes, but he at least is aware. He's at least aware of what's going on. The Raxes, they will complete. So behind this, doesn't respond with a second gas. Ooh, this is greedy. This is greedy here. He's going for the bunker on the high ground, and he is going to be delaying his factory. Okay. This is greedy. This is a greedy response. We'll see if Maru can get away with this. I mean, again, it's a little bit unfortunate that he did open up with a single gas geyser, so he has limited income. There it is now. Factory's on the way. Factory is going to be on the way. Likewise, Reaper does rotate. Okay, GuMiho looking for a way in. I mean, with the help of this bunker, he cannot push up the ramp into the main, and he's already transitioning. Factory is on the way back at home for GuMiho. Does go in. Ideally, he wants that Reaper. He does want it. Gonna be turned away. Nice shuffling there by GuMiho. Is forced out. And Maru holds. Maru, he does hold on. CC on the high ground. Further back. And it's going to be all about containing Maru. As GuMiho is not stopping Reaper production, by the way. Is not stopping. Focusing down that depot. Depot taking a lot of hits. Again, Maru, he chose not to get a bunker on the ramp. Like, typically we see 2 bunkers here, only 1. So again, Maru being greedy, but the Hellion has arrived. Maru, he's supply blocked. Is supply blocked. Going for a starport follow-up. But with the help of his Hellion, he should be okay. Like, he should be fine. Behind this, GuMiho expands. And again, right now, the win condition, or the goal for GuMiho is just contain. Just contain and keep Maru on one base for as long as possible. These Reapers are deflected. Are deflected. Maru going to be zoned back. GuMiho settling in, going to, yeah, as we expected, going into mech. We did mention at the start of the broadcast, or at the start of this series, that GuMiho is one that does enjoy embracing mech, quite more often than not. Maru is also willing to, so we'll see if we also go for a second factory. I hope not, but it's possible. Now we'll expand, we'll claim as natural. Third TC out of good, very fast third TC, by the way. 0 satchel. He has 1 SCV at the natural base and he rushes into a third. He's crazy. Very greedy. The greed is real here from GuMiho. Still, of course, going into Cyclone production. So is Maru. Just to be safe. Speaking of greed, yep, there we go. Third TC also on the way. So both players, they are as greedy as each other. We're playing some TVT. I mean, it makes sense just because both players, their expansions are delayed. So typically, if your base is late, then you want to double expand. So both players are rushing into it. Disable on the way forward. GuMiho going into interference matrix. GuMiho picks up a couple Marines, nothing major. Just a couple of Marines. Pulls away. And I'm still waiting to see what Maru goes for. But now just going to tank production, reactoring out Marines just to be safe. And waiting for a second ranks or a second factory. I feel like at this point we've already seen a second factory, so it looks like this should be biotank. Should be. Meanwhile, third ranks out of GuMiho. Getting his third racks. God damn it. I was coping. I was like, oh, you know what? We've gone this far without a second factory. It's probably going to be bio tank, right? No, baby, no. We have more factories going up to a triple factory setup. It is going to be mech versus mech. And again, not the first time we've seen this out of Maru to see him in mech versus mech. We've seen that him do this against GuMiho, against Cure, against Bunny. As I mentioned, Maru does like to mix it up and do both. But the problem here is that GuMiho, he was born in the mech. He thrives in the mech. Like we were giving praise to GuMiho's mech against Rogue earlier as well. Like there was a little bit more finesse to it than Maru's mech. And likewise here, because of GuMiho's advantage, because he was able to get his third base up and running a little bit faster, and now his third base a little bit faster as well, is able to get into his own backfill accelerators. Cyclones, they're picking up a couple units here and there, nothing major. Tank count is building up. We have so far 3 tanks for Maru. Meanwhile, GuMiho is making 2 tanks at a time. Ooh, meanwhile, Maru being greedy, going into double armory, and GuMiho scouts. He confirms. GuMiho, he does see the armories. He is aware of the factories. Likewise, he also sees the 4th CC in production. So upgrades are going to be in favor here of Maru. We'll have those upgrades. GuMiho instead, he has the army. Oh, goes for disable. Cyclone's moving in. And forcing out those auto turrets, forcing a response here from the Ravens of Maru. I see done. Again, that Raven energy is a resource. And we have to ideally try to force it out. Or have that advantage over our opponent. Likewise, nice catch. Maru catching out those tanks. Moving forward, but here come the Cyclones. And he's edging ever closer. Looks like he will get on top of the tank. He will focus it down. Oh, just barely. Does trade. In doing so, he does save his own tank. Oh, boys being pulled in. SCVs are going down. Lock-ons, they take down another tank. Trades 2 for 2. On top of that, gets 5 SCVs. GuMiho does pull away. And that's a lot of Ravens. That's 6 Ravens for Maru. If you remember when we casted Maru versus Ryung, this was last year. It was very similar. It was actually an Ultra Love, because Ultra Love's been around for 2 seasons now. But Ryung versus Maru was very similar, where Maru, he rushed into early armories, into earlier upgrades, and into earlier Raven, then into Mass Raven a lot faster as well. Like, he's so much more willing to just rush into Mass Raven when he plays mech like this. And Ultra Love is a map where we're known for cutting this map in half. Like, there's a lot of different points of elevation and choke points, so you can cut the map in half and slow the game down. Like, this game right now is looking eerily similar to Maru versus Ryung. Very similar. The difference being that Ryung took a lead. Like, Ryung, he was ahead. And then the game slowed down to a crawl and he lost that lead. Ryung, of course, known for having some of, if not the best TVT in the world. Like, it was a crazy TVT that he had against Maru. On Ultra Love. That's GuMiho going for his own double drop. Dropping into the natural. Turrets aren't ready. Just barely not in time. Yeah, Maru out of position. Barely not ready for this. Tank flow is going up. Ooh, and the tank is within range. At the same time, GuMiho pushing in between the bases. And that's disables, wedging himself in between the natural and the third. Once again, Maru not quite in position. These tanks are going to be going down, and he's going straight for that natural, actually pushing into the third. Ooh, this time less certain of. Yeah, there are more tanks behind this. Yeah, he has to pull away, has to back up, rotates over, and heads towards the natural. The natural is more exposed. Trying to force his way up the ramp. Auto starts are thrown down. And GuMiho, he barely cannot break through. And Maru's holding. Maru, he holds the ramp. GuMiho, he doesn't relent. Wants to keep pushing, but he's up against 6 Ravens. Like, again, like, sorry, 7 Ravens. There are just so many Ravens, and they trade so well. Despite that, does get into the mineral line. Forcing friendly fire. Nice control. Nice control. Hey, he gets 17 SCVs. Workers have been going down. GuMiho, he's on 91 workers plus mules. He's crazy. Has a very high economy, very high SCV count. Economy is booming, catching out some reinforcements, zoning back those Ravens. The Vikings are the MVPs. Where's the anti-air? No Cyclones. No Cyclones, no Vikings. GuMiho, he zones away those Ravens. Remember, this is the big advantage that Maru has, is the high Raven count. And now he can't use it. Maru's trying to make his own Cyclones. GuMiho still reinforcing with Cyclones himself. He's got his tank line and he's going for the third. There's only 2 tanks. Yeah, only 2. 2 tanks, that's not enough. Locons are brutal. Tank goes down. He gets 1, he gets 2. Takes down 2 tanks, and there's nothing here. Yeah, there's nothing left. There's auto turrets, and that's it. And we just walk away. We just walk away from the auto turrets. GuMiho, you can just stay out of range. More Vikings have arrived. Tanks are on the high ground. But there's only so much they can do, and GuMiho is overwhelming. He's just overwhelming the army. Overwhelms the third. Now Maru's stuck on 3 bases. Really stuck on 2.5. And this base, it's not going to survive. No shots. No planetary, it's an orbital. Maru, he's scanning, he's figuring out. It's like, there's all these expansions, all these bases. He does break out though. A massive breakout. Does take down the siege line, but at the same time, he'll lose the base. And he's all in. Maru, he's 2 base all in. But he does trade well. Like, again, this Mass Raven disables all the tanks, cleans everything up, almost completely resets the tank counts. But GuMiho can remax. GuMiho, he can just rebuild, he can remax. GuMiho can afford these losses. And Maru cannot. As again, Maru, he has 2 patches in the main and does have, he's undersaturated here at the natural. So again, 1 base economy essentially. Maybe 1.5 at most. Oh god. Oh, the welcomes takes out the Ravens. That was the one thing keeping Maru in this, was the high Raven counts. Now down to 2. Was 1-7. 2 Ravens left. GuMiho moving in. Takes down the tank. And there's the final army here of Maru. Trying to push out as well. And again, these tanks, they hold their own. Like Maru, he's trading well. He's trading efficiently. Takes down the Vikings, takes down the Cyclones. The problem is that GuMiho's on 87 SCVs. It's on 87 workers, man. Yeah. Is that GuMiho is making 6 tanks at a time. Vikings, Hellions. Maru's going to keep going. His win condition is to somehow get into the main. If he can get into the main, get into on top of the production, then he can end it. Ooh. Runs into the tank line. And runs into tanks. Oof. Loses the final Raven. And that's going to be it. That's the final army. GG gets called. And GuMiho, he will take the game. He will take a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. GuMiho will take a lead. Again, a very intense game here. It all began with the proxy out of GuMiho, where he was able to contain Maru. He didn't do any critical damage, but did contain him. From there, GuMiho was able to take his faster natural, able to take his faster 3rd base. From there, able to get into a faster switch into mech, of course, into his Cyclones. We saw that Maru was able to hold his own for a time, especially with that higher Raven count. But GuMiho, the kill move there, as things were looking pretty close between the 2 players, was dropping into the natural. Remember, he dropped into the natural base. It was 4 tanks behind the mineral line. He was able to siege and completely deny any kind of mining at that natural. At the same time, he moved in with his main army, and because of his positioning, because his tanks were wedged in between the natural and the 3rd, it meant that Maru, he couldn't rotate. He couldn't freely rotate between his bases, so he was trapped, he was stuck, he was pinned back against the wall, and GuMiho did just apply pressure and just broke him from there. GG. So really impressive move there from GuMiho. With that, went for the kill, and that leads us here into game 2. We'll see if Maru can bounce back, recover, and force the ace match. We'll see if GuMiho will take it here and now. Let's go. Let us go. So jumping into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. The Blue Terran representing SAUL Esports. Seoul Esports leading the series 1-0. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Red Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Vitality down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. The pressure is on. It is Maru. Here we go. And this time, let's do it again. We see not just 1, but 2 SCVs. GuMiho with the Proxy 2X Reaper 2 games in a row. And I do like this, actually. I like this because what are the chances that GuMiho does this 2 games in a row, right? What are the chances? What are the odds? He's not that crazy. He is. Now, thankfully for Maru, we are loading into a large map. I would say it is more common to go for an economic build here on Tokamak. Maru does not SCV scout, but he does go double gas. Safe opener this time. So much safer opener with this double gas into a faster factory. Maru, he will have the tools to defend. He should have a cleaner defense than what he had in game 1. So nice read here out of Maru. Doesn't risk it. Not against GuMiho. Of course, it still comes down to unit control. Maru, he scouts a natural. Pulls back. From here is setting up. Here we go. Here we go. See someone asking in the chat, in our YouTube chat, how can we support the channel other than on Twitch? That will be the most helpful. We do have a Patreon. Our Patreon specifically funds our tournaments, so it depends like kind of where you want the support to go. As the Reapers, they do bust into the main. Ooh, does not delay the factory. Ooh, that was close. Does not delay. Boys are being pulled. But he will catch the first Reaper. Oh, that shouldn't have happened. The Reaper does go down, but thankfully it trades 1-to-1. Somewhat trades though, as Maru, he will lose that second Reaper, trying to escape, trying to get away. He cannot escape though. Second Reaper goes down. CC is going to be delayed. This is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand here. The Hellion is on the way, but that's going to be 2 SCV kills. The Hellion, no, he forces the cancel. He cancels it. Oh god. Oh no. That should not have happened, Pappy. I mean, it all just escalated, right? Because 2 Reapers went down, because of that, there was more damage being done here to the CC. The Hellion will defend, but losing that CC was brutal. Oh, boy. And GuMiho takes a lead. GuMiho does take a lead. I was praising Maru for going for his safe opener, but losing that first Reaper, that should not have happened. And to lose those Reapers early on just escalated and snowballed out of control into this kind of game state. Where Maru's not dead, not at all. The Hellions will help him survive. But the problem here is that he's behind, and he shouldn't be. Like, his opener was meant to be safe, and he has fallen behind. And he's relying quite heavily here on the drop play. Medevac is on the way, going for a counter drop. This has to get damage done. Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, someone was asking about how to support. We do have a Patreon. We have a Patreon, but specifically our Patreon full is like 100% of the money on Patreon goes towards our tournaments, so we don't get any of that. That all goes towards the players. All goes towards the players. All goes towards the scene, the StarCraft scene. So if you want to help StarCraft as a whole, then Patreon is the place to be. If you want to support us, then that's where like subscribing on Twitch or becoming a YouTube member or donations. We don't really push donations too much. We probably should change that. Like, we don't have like a donation bar or anything. Which does dissuade donations, so we should probably do something about that at some point. But that is possible, is there? Otherwise, we're settling in. Otherwise, we are settling in. Maru, because he's behind, double expand. We saw this last game as well, if you remember. Rushing into a third CC. Likewise, so is GuMiho. So both players taking their third CCs. I would say that GuMiho is in a better position here. He has faster saturation. He has the faster mules. He already has the orbital. The orbital is just now beginning here for Maru. And from here, GuMiho, I would imagine, is going to go into mech. Now the question becomes, does Maru go into mech again? It's possible. We could see more mech versus mech. Could happen. Maru moving out with the empty medevac. From here, he can at least scout. True. And you said, I see double eBay. Let's go. I was not gonna lie, especially coming to Tokamak, I was concerned we were gonna play mech again, especially after Maru took a bit of a loss early on, after he fell behind. But no, double eBay. We're bioing it up. Ah, let's go. The man with gun is coming. Getting into bio tank, working towards marine production. Let's go. There we go. As we do have the add-on swap, we have 2 more Raxes on the way. Meanwhile, GuMiho. Ooh. Also, double eBay. Okay, again, this also, I mean, we did emphasize this earlier when we were covering GuMiho in his TBZ, is that GuMiho, what's scary about him is that he doesn't just only play mech, is that he does play bio as well. And there it is, double eBay into also stim, scan, revealed stim, and we have mirrored builds, or mirrored kind of compositions. Bio tank versus bio tank. When it comes to our current compositions as well, both players have 3 Ravens. Oh, my apologies. We have 3 Ravens out of GuMiho. We have 2 Ravens out of Maru. Tank count is neck and neck. And GuMiho is going to be the first to expand. And both players have their 3rd CCs, but GuMiho is on location. Maru, he is staying further back. Hellion does confirm the CC. And now it's time to expand. So Maru, he is 1 step behind when it comes to his CC timing, but he's getting there. He is getting there. He is going to be setting up at his 3rd. GuMiho rotating over. Does move out. Going to be skirting around the left-hand side. Maru likewise trying to keep up. Also getting in position. Setting up as well. GuMiho does threaten the natural. There's a turret. He avoids it. Does avoid it. Does harass at least somewhat. Ooh, taking a lot of hits. Oh my god. Does take a lot of damage. Marines are ready. And you can see how much faster it is to respond to this with a more bio-heavy composition. Like Maru, he's able to respond. Shuts down the initial push. Across the map, delays the 4th CC. And we have a back and forth. Have a back and forth here. Maru pushing in. Does rotate. GuMiho is keeping up. Do we base trade? Uh oh. GuMiho, he avoids the army. We're just going across the map, and we're going for the base trade. And Maru doesn't know. He doesn't know what's happening. Maru, he will hit the 4th. At the same time, GuMiho is just going straight for the 3rd. And Maru, he's late to the base trade, now moving in. GuMiho, he ignores the 3rd. Has to keep going. Has to keep pushing. Oh no! Oh, the Ravens overextend. Yeah, massive misstep there from GuMiho. Well, he does disable the tank. The Marines, they stim in. He wants that tank. He wants it. He's running in. Yeah, it does rush forward. And the tank will barely siege. Sieges for a moment, but it's disabled once again. And GuMiho, he's done it. He breaks the main. Does rush in at the same time. Maru doing the same. Okay, does the same thing. Also rushes into the main base as well. The buildings are under threat. Uh-oh. And the problem here is that GuMiho, he has mining. He has mining, he has an expansion. Buildings are trying to float away. Maru pushing in. He has to push into the tank. He does have Ravens though. There's a Sable. Does a Sable. GuMiho, he will be cleaned up here. But how quickly can we destroy the buildings? That's the question. The CC won't escape. Yeah, the command center will not escape. This one here might float away. As we have 4 potential floating buildings. Okay, this rack is gonna die. This CC will not escape. Neither will the starport. Yeah, Maru, he's late. He's late to lift. Late to float away. GuMiho is already abandoning his base. He's already floating over. And Maru, he's late. He's late to float away. The starport goes down. The CC goes down. This is it. The factory's the one chance. The one chance to force a draw. And even then, he shouldn't be able to. GuMiho has mining. GuMiho is floating over. He should have mining. Maru doing what he can. Maru, he's racing back. The factory gets away. That shouldn't have happened. But the factory does float away. Does not catch fire. Maru turns around. He has Ravens. GuMiho does not. Oh, sorry, he has two. Never mind. He has two. The CCs are floating back. Maru sims in. GuMiho, he should save the expansion. Yeah, GuMiho, he's in a better position. He's already set up. Oh my god. He shuts down the Marines. And Maru, he cannot break this. He cannot break the siege. He's trying to break his own main. It's not going to happen. GG gets called. And GuMiho, he will take the series 2-0, eliminating Maru from GSL. GG. Whew. GG, well played again. I mean, the game was evening up. The game was getting close here between both Maru and GuMiho, but GuMiho was the first to initiate the base trade. He was so much faster to bust into the main to go for all the buildings. GuMiho did slip up when it came to not focusing down that factory. Because of that, there was potential to try to force a draw as the factory did float away, but GuMiho, he saved his mineral line. He saved his third base, he pulled the mineral line away, and he saved 2 orbitals as well. So he had mining, which means he could eventually build a starport and eventually build a Viking and killed Maru. So Maru, he had no win condition there. He had to try to go for the fights, but GuMiho, he was already set up. He was just already set up. Again, GuMiho, he was 1 step, if not 2 steps ahead in that base trade. And Maru, I mean, he just had to react, and alas, reacted late to it. GG. GG, well played. Again, it took a little bit too long for Maru to realize what was happening, and GuMiho, he does eliminate Maru. Again, as we mentioned, GuMiho, he did take down Maru last season in GSL Season 1, and he does it again, GSL Season 2. Both seasons this year, GuMiho eliminates Maru. Crazy. Both seasons back. GuMiho, he has his number. Does have his number here. So GG, well played with that. GuMiho does claim it. And with that, we are now moving on to our decider match. Oh boy, to determine the final player to make it through. Final player to make it through. Oh. Here we go. It is going to be one final Terran versus Zerg matchup here. Of course, we had Solar. Solar, he went down to Rogue. He went down to Rogue previously. Did go down in the ZVZ. Solar went down to Rogue. So now we have Solar. He does have a second chance. He has a second chance here against GuMiho. Bam. As we set up our series. Here we go. And again, Maru, when it comes to his play, like he was playing straight up when it comes to this TVTs, or when it comes to these TVTs. But GuMiho, he's known for being a TVT sniper. Like, this is his matchup. GuMiho and Ryung, you know, they have some killer TVT, some of the best in the world. So again, it was unfortunate that Maru had to face off against GuMiho in this matchup. There's a reason why, if you remember, Maru played Protoss last season against GuMiho to try to have a different approach. But alas, he just can't escape. He cannot escape GuMiho. Can't get away, even with Protoss. And with that, GG, well played. We have our final series of the broadcast up next. We're going to be loading into Ley Lines, the decider match, the final chance for these 2 players to make it into the semifinals. Let's go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Ley Lines, we have our South Korean Terran player. We have our Red Terran representing S8UL Esports, Seoul Esports. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Let us go. So we have our final matchup, our final series of the broadcast. And these 2, they've yet to face off. I mean, Solar, he took down Maru earlier. GuMiho, likewise, also took down Maru. But they have avoided each other thus far. Now, something that we did see from GuMiho earlier against Rogue was he did mix it up. He did play mech at some points, did play bio at others. As As we load into ley lines, we'll see what he decides to go for this time. Ooh, CC first. CC first out of GuMiho, delayed racks, so very greedy start. But we mentioned this, if you recall, when it came to Maru versus Solar series, how Solar, he isn't really one to go pull first. He's not really one to be overly aggressive, so you can cut corners like this. You can cut corners, and you can try to take advantage of Solar in a lot of these matches as a result. So CC first would leave you vulnerable to a Roach-based all-in or Roach-based aggression early on, but Solar isn't really one to do so. Not that early, at least. We did see Solar go for an all-in against Maru, but that was off of 3 bases. That was off of 3.5 bases, actually, on 70 drones. So it was later aggression. So GuMiho cutting corners. I could already see this leading into mech, I'll be honest. Like, that's the scariest form of mech, is mech with greed behind it, right? Mech where a Terran player gets away with so much greed and takes an economic lead over the Zerg. It's terrifying. As we have our racks expand into the factory. Likewise, Solar, he is droning. And we just see GuMiho going for his third CC before the starport. Okay, so greedy start into an economic follow-up. Runs out of GuMiho. Solar just confirming. Lings, they do threaten a dive, but Marines, they don't care. They snipe the Overlord. They supply block Solar. Nice start by GuMiho. So far, this is a better start for the Terran. Behind this, going for a starport, getting to a zone 3, CC 111. And from here, we're expecting and we're waiting for a factory. But now we have another add-on swap here into Hellion production. And then this racks can make a tech lab for the starports into Banshee play. We'll see where this leads us. Yep, there's the add-on swap. So again, the racks has just been used to make add-ons so far. Just pure add-ons. I'm still waiting here for our next building of choice. There are those Cloak Banshees. Solar back at him just droning. We've been focusing a lot on GuMiho because Solar, he's just been droning, saturating, getting his third base, now working towards a 4th expansion. We're waiting here for, in 30 seconds, for our tech of choice to go into a faster layer, or into faster upgrades, or into a Roach Warren. So we will soon see Solar's tech of choice. Until then, it's all been on GuMiho. Just settling in. Hellions have amassed. And yep, there it is. Once again, the rack's just used for an add-on for a tech lab into mech. We have a 2nd and a 3rd factory on the way. We are meching it up. From here, GuMiho is doubling down. Now, does he embrace battle mech first, or does he go into a more tank-heavy style? We'll see. Meanwhile, we have a Roach Warren on the way from Solar. Solar, he has yet to really confirm what's going on. But opening up Roach against GuMiho makes plenty of sense. Like, there's a high chance... Oh my god! There's a high chance of it being something like mech. Meanwhile, that's Overlord speed on the way. Are we going to pull off a Raynor? Raynor, he has a build where... he had a build. This is back like in the Gressfan era of StarCraft. Where against mech, he would go for a Roach Queen all-in with a German Taxi. He would just German Taxi and all-in a Terran player before they got it to full 3-way saturation. We'll see if that's the plan. As the Roach Warren is finishing, Roach production should be underway. Solar, he joins up to 58. But we might just stop production here and just commit to that taxi. Yep, we're going for it. Let's go. Before that happens, Banshee does arrive. And the Banshee doesn't see much yet. But remember, there is a lair for the Drop Lords, but no upgrades. There's no Roach speed, there's no Eva chamber, there's no upgrades. We're ready for the taxi. There it is. The Drop Lord is arriving. Going for the Drop Lord. Roaches are moving out. Back at home, GuMiho, he is not aware. He's not getting... We need tanks. The tanks should survive against this, or at least like a massive amount of Hellion Cyclone. Third base is exposed. And Solar, he's moving out. He's moving out with everything he has. And now GuMiho scouts. He sees you all in. You know, see? Back at home is being proactive. Does catch out some of those roaches. Nicely done. That's going to be 1, 2 roaches going down already. Meanwhile, Lings, they do bust into the mineral line. GuMiho, he's fast to pull away. Does pull away in time. Ooh, roast up the Zerglings. Zerglings are getting roasted. Again, GuMiho barely loses any SCVs. He abandons the third. A good call. Has to abandon. Tank production's underway. He needs those tanks. Ooh. Brutal choke point. Solar, he cannot commit in, and Solar, he's droning. Okay, he's droning behind this. Solar trying to transition. The lair has begun. Oh, the lair is done. Infestation has begun. Getting to his Evo chambers. Evo chambers are on the way. Ooh. Nice piles. Does catch a Cyclone. Now, what's important here is that this all-in denied the third. That's all it really did. He killed 5 SCVs and delayed the third base, I should say. But doesn't do any critical damage, which means GuMiho, he's still in a very, very strong position because now we can expand. And, oh, we do see we're attempting to spread some creep, attempting to delay the expansion. Now dropping in towards the main. The creep is cleaned up. And GuMiho now can resaturate. And was this good enough? I mean, Solar, he does have a decent drone count, true. He was able to build up to 76. Decent. Oh, God, I spoke too soon. Oh, God. No spore. No spores in position. Drones are going down. Ugh. The queens, of course, they were across the map, so now they're racing back. 2 queens that go down. And it's going to be 6 drone kills. And suddenly that economic lead, it's not really there anymore. And still have 20 drones, true. But mules, of course, are a factor. GuMiho now getting into a 4th. Queen drop into the main. Okay, okay, let's go. That's where the queens were. Jumping into the main. Hey, they're killing SCVs. Not bad. No transfuse, unfortunately. They get 5 SCVs. That's something. 5 SCVs for 3 queens. Meanwhile, GuMiho, he has arrived. Pushing forward. He wants the expansion. That's all he wants. He's going to get it. He's going to get a Solar being forced further and further back. He's going to try to engage, but there's so many Hellbats. He just cannot get on top of the tanks. He cannot get on top of this. Takes down the queens. Oh, Fungal does connect. Not bad. Gets 1, gets 2. Takes down 2 Cyclones. Then again, this base should fall. Solar does pull away. The base goes out. Solar now stuck on 3 bases. Retaking his 4th. Excuse me here. Does pull back. Pulls back, pulls away. No need to stick around. And again, despite the fact that GuMiho, he lost, or he had to give up his 3rd base earlier, like, he's still in a solid position. Now getting another expansion. Again, he's on an equivalent base count as Solar. Solar is up in drones, but he's not saturating, right? Like, he's oversaturated heavily. He's not mining efficiently. It's allowing GuMiho to catch up. And once again, going into Hyperflight Rotors. Now, if you remember, we spoke about this during GuMiho's series against Rogue, how GuMiho is very fond of this, a bit of an older style of mech that has made a resurgence, which is battle mech into Cloak Banshee. And the goal of the Cloak Banshees are to do what? To snipe the Ravagers and to snipe the Infestors, more importantly. And we saw that he just bullied Rogue and just focused on every single Infestor. It was insane. But that's their role. Their role is to snipe the Infestors. Meanwhile, Jesus, oh, but we're just rushing into Broodlord tech. My apologies. I didn't notice that Greater Spire. I thought nothing of it, but yeah, Greater Spire is done. Broodlords are on the way. Very fast Broodlords. Okay. Bearing in mind that there's no Vikings, like GuMiho has no Vikings ready. But he does have Cyclones. Does have Cyclones. It's not the best answer to Broodlords, but it is an answer. Oh. Catching up the roaches. Now what's important here is, oh god, as the roaches get caught on move command. Yeah, they do get caught out. But what is important here is that when the Broodlords get scattered, because I believe so far, unscattered. So far, GuMiho is unaware. Broodlords are going to strike the top base where all the Cyclones are. Uh-oh. Cyclones, they do get some lock-ons. Broodlords are getting low. Broodlords already getting low. Again, Sully has to be careful. Now he reveals his hand. Viking production has begun, but there's only one starport. He's not ready for Vikings. Oh. Hydras are building up to support. Okay. That's going to be Solar's anti-air. His Hydra. Nuts Corruptor. Ooh. Catching out two of those Banshees. Nicely done. Both armies are maxed out, and this base is forfeit. Solar coming in from behind. GuMiho, we can just keep going further in. Yeah, you can just send it. The tanks are not long for this world. They should be the first to go down. Fungal does connect. And this base will fall. Not just this expansion, he can just keep going. The Broodlords are lagging behind. And Cyclones, they go for the run-by. They catch a queen. Oh, running into more army, though. Now, who runs into who? The Hydras are exposed. They're all going to be cleaned up. Better trade for GuMiho. And can he get a second expansion? No shot. Oh, the lock-ons are brutal. He'll get it. Oh my god, it's so fast. Ay. Takes down the expansion. He gets one, he gets two bases, takes down all the Hydras. And Solar, he bleeds out so much here. Unable to catch out the army. Broodlords, they just move out across the map. Oh, nice fungal. Catching out the Raven. Raven goes down. Broodlords trying to move in. Thors are on the way. We're getting a little bit chaotic. Yeah, Broodlords trying to catch out those Cyclones. Nice fungal. Fungal pops off. Cyclones are going down. But now it's almost purely Hydra. That's a very heavy Hydra composition. Interesting. It's very fragile is what I will say. I mean, it can trade well against Mass Thor, 100%. For sure. Speaking of, does catch a Thor. Gets one. Gets still almost two. And right now, GuMiho needs tanks. He needs tanks here instead. He's got too many Thors. Switching into tank production. Making 3 tanks at a time. Likewise, Hydras, they rotate over. They will take down an expansion. The Broodlords are getting caught out. Vipers are on the way, but they're not ready. Yeah, the Vipers are not ready. And Solar has to get out of here. He has to get the hell out of here. He cannot fight this head on. Not without any spellcasters. Not without any Broodlords or Lurkers. Like pure Hydra here. I'm still a little bit perplexed. Now we have the Lurker done on the way, but I feel like this is late. Now without Lurkers, these Hydras they can't really get much done. They can kill Banshees, I suppose. But we are trapped on a heavy Hydra army. An expensive one as well. Nice piles. Very nice piles. And the mech is coming. The mech is coming. And Hydras, they're not built for this. Ay. Lurker Den is almost done. Remember, these are going to be lair tech Lurkers. Take on the Vipers, true. Blinding Clouds. Nice Blinding Clouds. Does abduct 2 of the tanks as well. Yeah, very nice engage here from Solar, trading as best he can given what he has. Despite that, the mech army is breaking through. Down to 2 Hydras. How many did we lose? 45! 45 Hydras. Oh, God. And on the one hand, sure, now we have a Lurker Den. On the other hand, all the Hydras are dead. So Lurker Den a little bit too late. And GG gets called as Solar's army crumbles and GuMiho takes game number 1. Ooh, GG. GuMiho does take lead in the series against Solar. Unfortunately, he was tunnel visioning a little bit too much and he overmade Hydras. And as we saw, like, even though he was maxed out, Solar, he was stuck on a subpar army. His Lurker Den was late. If he wanted to go into Hydra Lurker, great, sure thing, but he had no Lurker Den, which might have been an oversight there. Or he just overmade Hydras. With that, he was just stuck with an army that's just not built against mech, and we saw it just crumble, just melt, just evaporated. GG, well played. GuMiho does overwhelm, and with that, GuMiho is one game away from claiming the series. Solar has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. Oh boy. Again, a very chaotic game there. We had Solar, you know, switching tech and going into that Broodlord switch, then trying to switch out into Mass Hydra. It's a bit chaotic. But here we go. We're now getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha. We have our South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing SA2L Esports. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Oh. Hello. As GuMiho moves out with not just one, with 2 SCVs. So we have a proxy 2 racks here from GuMiho. Something rarely. Oh, did I say 2 racks? 3 racks. Ooh. Now we have seen Solar die to this in GSL before. Like he has straight up just died to this. What is scary about a proxy 3 racks is that you have to respond differently as a Zerg player if it's 2 or 3 racks. Like they both typically require different responses, different reactions. Against a proxy 2 racks, you can pull the boys and you can chase down the Marines, you can focus on the bunkers, and then you can defend and survive and shut this down by pulling the boys. Against a proxy 3 racks, you can't pull that off. You have to be more reserved in your response, because there will be more Marines. It is more difficult, I should say, to pull it off by pulling the boys. So if Solar misreads this, then he can be caught out. Now, GuMiho, he has to do the best he can to try to hide this. Based on the Overlord pathing, Solar should confirm. He should confirm everything. No, never mind. He does. He pulls away. He was rallied in. He was rallied to scout. Feels bad, man. And this is what's important. 2 SCVs. 2 SCVs are revealed. He's making it look like a proxy 2 racks, not 3. That's the only reveals 2. Bunkers on the way. The boys are being pulled. Oh no, the boys are being pulled. Now we'll see if we can get us around. As more Marines are amassing, Solar trying to get the better angle here. Yeah, GuMiho he does dance well. He pulls away. The bunker is going to be denied. We have the spine crawler on the way. And thankfully, Solar, he doesn't commit. But the bunker on the way once again. Lings have arrived. And Solar, he's holding on. And again, thankfully, he didn't try to dive in. If he did, then he would have just lost all these drones. Like, the drones would have gone down. I say that the spine crawler should complete and Solar should hold. The drones, they make it back. Whew. Spine crawler is done. And he's within range. Within range of the bunker. Bunker is cancelled. And Solar defends. Okay, so he does defend. Again, we saw him pull the boys, but he didn't commit to a fight, thankfully. If he committed, that would have been disastrous, but he just used it to zone. He just zoned, but he bought enough time for his spine crawler. And with that, Solar, he can now start to focus on longer game state. Getting a second spine crawler as well. Oh, have to be careful. Does have to be careful. Now getting a second spine. Oh my god, GuMiho. He's committing. He is committing here. The boys are being pulled. We do see the Overlord doesn't see much here. Doesn't see much, but we have more spine crawlers on the way, thankfully. More spine crawlers on the way. Solar, he's not droning. So a good read here from Solar. The GuMiho is just going to double down and commit. But it's going to be a tough hold. There's going to be a transfuse. There's one transfuse available. He's going for the queen. He's going for the queen and does try to run past. He does run past all the spine crawlers. He has the high ground. He has the ramp. And Lings, they're going down. Boys are being pulled. Zerglings, they crumble here. And there's no spine in the main. GuMiho, he's done it. Wow. GuMiho, he busts into the main base. Chasing down the final queen. Spines are trying to reposition. Oh, God. There's no Zerglings. Can they burrow? Oh god, as every drone is going down. He cripples the economy, takes down every single worker. Down to one drone. Now there's nothing on the low ground. Now there's nothing here. And GuMiho, again, he has crippled his opponent. GuMiho back at home. He has mining. He has mules, more importantly. GG gets called. And GuMiho, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. What an animal. GG, well played. GuMiho, he does take it again. We have seen Solar fall to this in the past. I mean, a lot happened there. First things first, Solar, he missed the scout, which was brutal, but he had a good reaction, right? Where he did pull the boys. Then when he realized that there was a third SCV, he didn't dive on the Marines. He just used his zone. He just zoned. He bought enough time to spine crawlers. Honestly, a really good start. Really good early game defense by Solar. He bought enough time for the spine crawlers. He pulled back. He defended. The game should have continued. And then GuMiho pulled the boys. And as we saw, GuMiho did not have enough to break the natural, so he avoided it. He was able to get past just before both spine crawlers finished. Just before they finished, he was able to slip past the army, slip past the defenses, wedge himself in between the bases, and avoid the spine crawlers entirely. And with that, GG. GG well played. Solar, he did not have a backup spine in the main base. He didn't think to get that ready. He likewise didn't have a full wall at the ramp either with his queens. There was an opening. And GuMiho slipped past. He slipped past, he slipped through. GG. He does cheese the hell out of Solar. And with that, GuMiho does make it through and does make it into the semis. Solar, he's out of GSL. He's out of GSL. GG. Crazy, that'd be crazy. He's an animal. Oh my god. Catching up, catching up. This man is alpha, but he's crazy, man. He's insane. Just tuned in. Is there another game? Unfortunately, we are at the end of the broadcast. We just wrapped up. I mean, you can check out the VODs, of course. VODs are available on YouTube. We do stream on YouTube at the same time. But we just wrapped up with our initial group here with Group A. Congratulations to GuMiho and Rogue. Rogue initially took down GuMiho 2-1. It was very close. I'm still thinking about that Tokamak game where Rogue went mass muta and where GuMiho did kind of underreact to it and he was pulled apart. GuMiho was in a commanding position and then Rogue had a crazy comeback on Tokamak. Likewise, Solar had a very specialized build against Maru where he was able to hard counter the 8 racks. Very, very nicely done out of Solar. Then we had the chaotic ZVZ between Rogue and Solar as well. Very chaotic, very intense. GuMiho able to bring down Maru in the TBT matchup. Once again, for those that are unaware, 2 seasons in a row, Season 1 and Season 2 of GSL, who knocked out Maru? GuMiho. 2 seasons in a row, papi. So GuMiho, he once again brings Maru down, and then GuMiho does pull one over on Solar with mech and with the proxy. GG, well played. Congratulations, GuMiho and Rogue do make it through. Solar and Maru are out of GSL. Congratulations here, congratulations. And with that, that wraps up our broadcast for the morning. Again, we do have another broadcast tomorrow. Of course, there are 2 groups. There are 2 groups in GSL, and let's catch up on our schedule. Bam. On our matchup. So here we are Monday morning. All the way at the beginning of the weekly schedule. Here we are Monday morning, 9 AM KSC. We just wrapped up with our GSL Group A cast of the round of 8. And tomorrow, at the same time, in 24 hours, or I should say less than 24 hours time, tomorrow at the same start time, we're going to be live with Group B. Group B is going to be tomorrow. And you can see on Thursday, in 2 days time, on Thursday we do have, oh sorry, in 3 days time, on Thursday we have another GSL broadcast. That GSL broadcast is the semifinals and grand finals. So we're going to be wrapping up Season 2 of GSL this week with initially both quarterfinals groups and then the semis and finals thereafter on Thursday. So 3 days of GSL this week. Meanwhile, we have WarDTV Monday. That's going to be later on tonight. So our next broadcast is going to be at 8 p.m. KST. That's going to be at 9 p.m. AEST. That is going to be in 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours from this message, we're live with the WarDTV Monday. That is a weekly open tournament where we feature players like Clem, MaxPax, Hero, Rogue, Solar, Shin, Kior, Byan, Showtime, and many others. Skillus as well. They all compete, they all go back and forth in the War DTV Monday. Again, that's later on tonight. Meanwhile, on Wednesday morning, we have the Pegasaur Cup. That's going to be in 2 days. So tomorrow we have GSL at this time. Day after that, we have Pegasaur Cup. That is another open tournament that is more centralized towards the American and Korean time zone. So in that tournament, we feature similar players, except we also feature players like Estrella, like Trigger, like Scarlet. Scarlet has been playing a little bit more as well. So it is a little bit more catered towards the NA region for that weekly. So we have the Pegasaur Cup. Meanwhile, on Thursday, we have the Podcast, we have Kung Fu Cup on Friday, and of course, many other tournaments throughout the week. You might be noticing here that this week's schedule is looking a little bit leaner than usual. And it looks that way. It kind of is. It kind of isn't. So I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. This week is RSL. This week is, if you don't know what the RSL is the Revival StarCraft League. It's a big tournament organized by those in Korea, organized by the English speakers in Korea, by the community members, specifically Tasteless, Gemini, State, Ziggy, and a couple of others. They all work together to create a Patreon, create this crowdfunding, and to run the Revival StarCraft League. And the goal here is to have a consistent tournament that is going to be running on a regular basis, on a seasonal basis, outside of the league and outside of the EPT circuit, because the EPT circuit doesn't exist anymore. So this is going to be one of those tournaments that does run on a regular basis for all the players to compete in during the off season, before or after EWC. So it's going to be really important. It's I would say a really important event because of its initiative, because of what it means, because of what it signifies moving forward without the EPT circuit, without ESL Pro Tour. So there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of importance, I would say, in that event. And that's going to be running tomorrow night. You can see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in that afternoon time slot. That's where RSL is. We could cast. We could actually push GSL earlier and cast in that time slot, but we don't want to go over RSL. We don't want to clash, right? We don't want to clash with RSL. Like I feel like it's really important. I feel like there's a lot of, like, again, value and importance in the RSL, so I don't want to clash with it. I don't want to go over it, so we're going to be leaving that that time slot open, and that is when RSL is going to be taking place. Now, RSL, they did say that we can co-stream, like we have permission to co-stream the event, so we could go live and we could co-stream, but I feel a little bit weird. I feel a little bit weird co-streaming. That's like, I'm perfectly fine co-streaming like Esports World Cup or DreamHack, like these bigger, more official events. When we get permission, of course, I feel fine like co-streaming that. Co-streaming is like, it's like React streaming. It's like it's like a viewer party, but it feels kind of weird for RSL just because I feel like it's already a community event. Like it's already an event designed for the community and designed for the scene, and I don't know. I don't want to take away from it. So yeah, I feel I'm very much on the fence, and I think we're just gonna leave those afternoons open and you know, let it go. Let's ideally support RSL, you know, and not try to stream over it or even co-stream over it. It's like, nah, we're good. We'll be okay. We can have some afternoons off, Pap. Yeah, it's crazy. We can take some afternoons off. So that's the plan here. Now, I might change my mind when it comes to the playoffs. So this week is the group stage of RSL, the group stage. I think the playoffs are maybe like in 2 weeks' time. We might co-stream the playoffs. But for the group stage, we'll leave it open. And that means we have some time to edit VODs. Let's go. So that's gonna be our plan here for Thursday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, and Friday afternoon. Likewise, another thing about the weekend, you might see Saturday morning is free. That's kind of odd. Like the weekend, RSL is not then. Over the weekend is the EWC Global Qualifier. The last chance qualifier for Esports World Cup is this weekend, and it should be there on the schedule. We are going to be casting it. The only reason why it's not on the schedule, we should probably just add it without any time, is there is no announcement as to when the qualifiers are. We don't actually know the time, the start time. We will cast it, but we don't know when it is yet. I'm sure it's going to be announced soon, in a couple of days. It's a late announcement. That's par for the course for EWC, not gonna lie. So late announcement as to when the qualifiers are, specifically the start time. We know it's over the weekend. We don't know the start time yet. Once we find out, we'll add it. We'll add it to the schedule, but that's going to be over the weekend. So the schedule here is a little bit incomplete because that'll be taking place as well. Just as a heads up. We'll cast it anytime. Exactly. Like it doesn't matter when it's going to be because we're going to cast it. But it would be nice to know when, so I know when I can sleep and how to adjust my sleep schedule. Just saying. So that's going to be over the weekend. Meanwhile, big shout out to Flipper Flapjack in the chat. Baby God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gifted sub to the community. A gifted sub to Tatsujin. Thank you so much. But yes, just letting you know that this weekend is going to be the global qualifier, and we will be casting it, even though it's not on the schedule. We'll be there, and during the week is going to be RSL. We won't be casting that, and we want to leave it open and let everyone enjoy RSL together. Let everyone enjoy. But again, we might co-stream for the playoffs. We might do that, depending on when they are. Otherwise, GG. Well played. So a busy week here in StarCraft. Maybe a little bit less busy for us, which isn't the worst thing. You know, we've had a really intense year. I was going to say, we've had like an intense couple of weeks. We've had an intense year, Pappy, of just non-stop, like, just casting. The last day that I had off, fun fact, was last year, December 25th. I took Christmas off to go spend time with my sister and to meet my nephew and spend time with the family. So I took Christmas off. Since then, not a single day off. And even here, we don't have a day off either, technically. But because we're still, even though it's a leaner week, we're still casting every day, by the way. we're still casting every day, just less than usual, which is crazy. But GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be wrapping up. Here. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate the kind words. Chelsea fan in the chat. I hope you had a great time at Cheeseadelphia. Hope you had a great time. To Chelsea fan, to Beefy earlier, to Flapjack as well. Hope you guys had a great time. Hope to see some pictures on social media, maybe. I know that, fun fact, when we were casting, I was like second guessing myself. I was like, is that ex-Kawaiian? Is that no shot? If he was there, he'd be playing. He was there. Yeah, he posted on socials like yesterday. It's like, why didn't he play? I wanted to see some ex-Kawhi in action, Papi. Yeah. Didn't even play. Shaking my head. I think people saw like Uko there as well. I don't know if Uko was there. I'm still a little bit on the fence on that one, but yeah, it was really cool to see the turnout. Really cool to see the turnout at Cheeseadelphia. I look forward to the next one. Look forward to it. Ducklings got a total of 2.5 days off. True. Remember, Werehog. This is an incomplete schedule because we're still casting the EWC qualifiers, which might be Friday evening and Saturday morning. Like that might be there as well. But regardless, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We'll see you guys later on tonight in 7 hours for the Wardy TV Monday. And again, it's a busy week here in StarCraft. Maybe a little bit less for us, but RSLs this week and EWC qualifiers, the global qualifiers, are this week as well. So mark your calendars once we find out when they are. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And if you can't watch in 7 hours for Wardy TV Monday, we'll see you tomorrow for GSL Ro8 Group B. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao. Ciao. Hasta luego. See you next time.